Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday weekly Ask Me Any Stock session. If you guys can see and hear me, you can see my screen as well. Just type a GM for good morning. Let me know, guys, if this is working before we get started today. Type a GM for good morning. Let me just acknowledge all of you for just joining me today and my team as well. Let's see who is joining us here today. We have Chi Sing. Hi, good morning, Chi Sing. Every Friday, I see you here. Thank you so much, Chi Sing, for support. Alexander, good morning. Catherine, good morning. Energized Mood, yes. Morning. All right, I see you every Friday. Rajan, hi. JP, Selston, good morning. All right, Ian, good morning. Michael, Lillian as well. David, hi. Wunhu as well. SK, good morning. L'Oreal. All right, so welcome guys to this session. All right, the Ask Me Any Stock session that's happening right now, and we are live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. So for those of you who are joining us the very first time, or maybe you are like kind of like scrolling through YouTube and on Facebook, you have no idea what these sessions are. Well, essentially every Friday we go live and we talk about stocks. Right. So if you are looking at stocks, you are in the right place. You're in the right place, right? But we don't talk about, any stocks, any markets every time, right? We focus on the Singapore market and the US market. So today, right? Today we'll be back to the Singapore market. Why? Because last Friday we did US, right? So today is Singapore. Next Friday back to US again. So we alternate between US and Singapore. So today, if you are looking at Singapore stocks, all right, then you are confirmed in the right place, right? Any Singapore stock, right? DBS, whatever, right? Doesn't matter what Singapore stock. But if you are kind of like, thinking of buying any Singapore stocks, don't know what to do, maybe you bought them last year, last month, don't know whether to buy, to keep, to hold, right? Then you are in the right place, because this is what we call the Ask Me Any Singapore Stocks session. So later what we do is that we do a quick market outlook. We'll look at what we call the STI, right? What has been happening in the markets. Could we see even more bullishness as we end 2025, right? In terms of the entire market outlook, right? Focus on the Singapore. What are some of the news that came out as well, right? And after that, then we'll dive into the Singapore stocks that you guys are asking about. So I think some of you are already typing in the chat, the Singapore stocks like, Yen, DBS, UOB, OCBC, right? Some of you are typing in the chat already. Great. All right, let's see. We have like Maple Tree Industrial Trust by TGK as well. Banyan Tree. All right. So very good, guys. Later I'm going to go through all the chat one by one. All right. How we do it is that we'll go through all the Singapore stocks. We try our best. We try to do it like maybe about 15 over Singapore stocks each time in each session. All right. I'll go first. I'll pass on the mic to Bervyn. All right. And then Zee will be joining us as well. Whereby, we'll just go through round robin style the Singapore stocks. All right, that you are guys asking, right? So when you type in the chat, right, which some of you are already doing, right, for the Singapore stocks, very good. Give us a bit of a context, all right? JP, you're asking about CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is a US stock, so it will not be covered today. US will be next Friday. Right? So today will be Singapore stocks. So give us a bit of context, right? When you type the Singapore stock, right, like DBS or Banyan Tree or something, right? Let us know what are you asking about Banyan Tree, all right? And are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? You bought it last month. You want to sell? What price did you buy and stuff like that, right? So that is with a better context, right? It allows us to better give you a more personalized kind of opinion, all right, to that stock, rather than just typing one name there. I also don't know you want to buy or you want to sell. Does it make sense, Bob? All right, so that's why we give more priority, especially if you put a little bit of effort, giving us a little bit of context on that stock that you are asking about. You see what I'm saying, Sabah? All right, Ken? Okay, so let me go ahead right now. All right, and okay, one more thing. At the end, right? At the end, like, what we do every Friday, right? At the end, after going through your stocks, right? Then we will share with you one stock that we like at the end. So each of us will share one. So 1 times 3 of us here. So there'll be 3 Singapore stocks that will be shared with you guys right at the end. So make sure you stay all the way to the end. If you want to know what are some of the the top 3 Singapore stocks that has been now watch this for a while, and there could potentially be more upside. All right, put them in your watch as well. We got some bullish signals coming up on our indicator, and I think it is poised to hit even higher. All right, so make sure you stay all the way to the end. So what you could do right now, guys, is that would it be okay, guys, if you help me to like and share? Help me to like and share. All right, just let me acknowledge all of you. Good morning as well, Serena. All right, help me to like and share so that we can talk to more people. All right, and like and share. And of course, if you have not yet followed the channel on Facebook and also on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you do that right now. There should be an icon, a bell icon at the top or something like that. All right, click on it. And that's where when you subscribe, when we go live, you will be alerted as well. All right, every Friday when we go live. So make sure you subscribe, follow if you have not yet done so. Show me some love, right? That there's a heart shape, kind of like button over here as well. Show me some love. Hit the heart shape button. I think at the bottom right hand corner, there's something like that, right? So thank you so much for those of you who are hitting the heart shape and stuff. All right, appreciate it. Okay, so let's get started right now. All right, and let me go ahead to introduce myself first, all right? So my name is Joey Choy, right? In case you have not met me before, my name is Joey Choy, top tier MyZero trader in Singapore in Philips Securities, and I've been doing this for more than 15 years now, right? On stocks, which is pretty much my forte, right? And I've been using what I call the one good trend strategy, all right, to analyze any stocks, any markets, any asset classes. I get an opinion in seconds. Of course, I have this tool that helped me, and that's what we'll be using as well to analyze your Singapore stocks later. I call it the One Good Trend Pro indicator. So essentially, this indicator or this strategy allows me to know whether to buy or to sell a stock, when to get in, maybe when to get out as well when the time comes, right? So I conduct training as well over the past 5-10 years, right? Teaching people on my One Good Trend strategy and perhaps how you could have access to the very same tools that we are using as well. So if you want to find, so today I don't have time to share the whole strategy, all right? Probably take a few hours. So if you want to find a bit more about the entire strategy and how perhaps you could have the same tools like us, then you can attend one of those free webinar, all right? There's one webinar, not next week, I think maybe a few more weeks' time. We don't do this every single month or what, this is not really a full-time job. So probably a few weeks' time, there's a one webinar. Team can place the link in the chat, right? So you can register for this free webinar if you want, all right? Click on it, register for it. That's where I will dive into the entire strategy more, the mindset, the very tools that we're using. Step by step, we break it all down. All right, but today, no time. Today, no time. All right, today is just pump, right? Just cover your stocks and we just move on already. Okay, can? So that's a link in chat. Check it out. All right. Okay, so that's me, right? So Joey over here, and I want to introduce my team as well. All right, and we have Bervyn joining me every Friday as well. Bervyn is one of the top brokers under me in Philips Security as well. Conducting our group coaching sessions, all right, with our graduates, our one-on-one sessions with our mentees, assisting our team's portfolio manager as well, right? And Bervyn is what we call a chartered financial analyst, CFA, right? Strong in not just technical but also fundamentals, all right, and I do consult him as well, all right, in terms of some of the stocks, in terms of the fundamental strength as well, right? So maybe I can pass on the mic to Bervyn to share a little bit on himself today, all right? Bervyn, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to our weekly AMAS. I think at this point is ask any stock session ready. All right. So I hope that everybody is good today. I think the market is moving quite a little bit. I think everybody's very excited, as you can see in the chat. So many stock requests as well. So I hope today we can continue to give you guys value for myself, Joey, and Zee. Give you our opinion on the stocks you are currently holding. So, but before that, please do help us to like and share this space so we can actually reach out to more people as well. And then also giving us a little bit of context like what Joey said, all right, about the stocks that you're actually thinking about. Is it to buy, to sell, to just add into your watch list? You have bought when, what price? The more information, the better. All right, so I will just keep it short. So I'll pass the time back to Joey to continue on with this introduction. Joey?
All right, thank you so much, Bervyn. All right, so now I want to introduce to you another of my team member. All right, Zee. Right, Zee has been with me for more than 5 years now. What I call an expert in anything to do with charts, right? Technical analysis, candlestick, price action, chart patterns, whatever to do with charts, you name it. She's the go-to person. I do consult with her as well. All right, and of course, Zee is a very professional. She knows about my entire one good trend strategy as well. All right, and yeah, one of the top brokers under me in Philips Securities, assisting our group coaching sessions, our one-on-one sessions for mentees. And yeah, maybe I can just pass on the mic to Zee to share a little bit on herself to see how she can add value to all of you guys here over today.
All right, thanks Joey for the introduction. Hi everyone, my name is Zee. Yeah, for those who are new here, like what Joey mentioned, big fan of charts. Really like to look at charts during my free time. And the thing is that my philosophy has always been simple. Like if you guys have been following us for, quite a while now, you know that, I don't really like to overcomplicate things. And what Joey's 1GT Pro indicator, whereby later you will see how we actually analyze the chart with the 1GT Pro indicator, it actually simplifies everything for you without overcomplicating it, right? And that is the whole main purpose today, that we will try to cover as many Singapore stocks as possible. And yeah, without further ado, right, I'll pass the time right back over to Joey to actually kickstart today's session.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Okay, let's get started, right? So just a quick disclaimer, like we do every single Friday, right? Whatever that's being shared today by me, by Bervyn and Zee, it's just for education purposes only, right? It's not really to ask you to buy or sell anything, right? Just to give you an opinion based on a reasonable basis, based on my strategy, based on the tools that we're using, all right? But please do your own due diligence as well, all right? The standard disclaimer that we share, all right? Okay, so let's get started right now, and maybe what we could do is to cover what we call the STI, the Singapore STI. Just type a S, guys, in the chat. If you want me to go to cover the Singapore Straits Times Index, right? Just to get an opinion of what has happened, all right, over the past few weeks, could we see more strength in Singapore's Straits Times Index? Let me know, right? Type a S in the chat if you want me to cover the STI, all right? Let's see, IV, S as well, Chi Sing, Jason, David, S as well, Batguan, S, Justin, Go, good to see you as well, S as well, S. Okay, let's just do it very quickly. Let's do it very quickly. This is the Singapore Straits Times Index right over here at 4,345. So you can see it's live, right? It like it's moving up and down. And I have already turned on what I call the One Good Trend Pro indicator. So most people, when they look at a chart, right, it will be like this. I mean, if I turn off everything, all right, and then a chart will normally look like this lah. I mean, you need the prices lah, right? And that's where you can see candlestick, green, red, and the prices on the chart. So I mean, you can go to do some manual analysis, and that's what I used to do as well, right? Very manual, all right? You get an opinion by drawing some lines, by higher lows, higher highs. But now, of course, with this tool that I have, right, with a click of a button, it gives me a quick opinion in seconds. All right, so let me go to turn on some of the moving averages to allow me to get an idea of the trend of the market, right, in just a few seconds. And also, the first box right over here, all right, would be the bullish and bearish signals based on my One Good Trend Pro indicator. So let me just turn it on. As I say, you can turn it on, not just on any stock, even the market also can. This STI also can. All right, let's turn it on and let's see what it says. So if you see like a red color, bearish signal, then not so good. Before you can buy, right? You want to be a bit more cautious. But if you see a bullish green signal coming out, plus other confirmations that we are looking for, don't you think that it is like more confident to take the trade, right? It's like, a bit more bullish lah. Does it make sense so far? All right. So let's take a look at the STI right now, right? I will not go too far, but every time you get a bullish signal, there we go, all the way up, another bullish signal, we went up. In April, we saw a bearish signal and there we go, right? But look at the very strong reversal that happened somewhere in mid of April, somewhere around 17th of April, we saw a 1GT bullish signal coming out. And what happened, right? The market started to see that rally all the way up from like 3,600 to all the way up to 4,200. All right, and we got a bearish signal because it sold off a little bit, but overall you can see that the longer term trend, the red and blue line, is still up. So longer term trend for the STI has been up since last year. It is still up. The short term trend, well, we want to focus on what we call the green 20 days moving average line, right? So this green line is pointing up, then it's okay lah, right? But up, start to flatten out a little bit, right? So in like August, actually, it was a bit boring for a while. It was like moving sideways. But over the past 2-3 weeks, this green line has started to point up. Does it make sense? Let me just zoom in a bit. I mean, don't need to bluff yourself. Up means up, down means down. You can see it was sideways. Then now it started to point up. You see what I'm saying about, right? So that's where we are starting to see renewed strength in the Singapore STI, all right? And of course, we have also broken this very key resistance level that I talked about in my previous Ask Me Any Stock Singapore session as well, right? The 4,300 level, all right? 4,300. That is a very key resistance whereby since like July, August, we touch, come down. Every time go there, we come back down, right? But the past 1 week, right? Never come back down, We went above it, right? We went above it. Now it's like 4,344, all right, which is above 4,300 lah. Does it make sense about? All right, so it looks good as long as you stay above this 4,300. In fact, I could turn this red color resistance to a green color new support line. So as long as you stay above that 4,300, the long-term trend is up, the short-term trend is up. Obviously, we got a new 1GT bullish signal coming out as another confirmation as well. We are looking to be even more bullish, right? And if you have been following us, right, I've been talking about this, right, so the past 1, 2, 3 months, all right, we got some alerts right over here, right? So over the past few months, right, we have seen strength in the Singapore market. I think all of you who have been following me would know that I talk about this thing called the the strength, right, coming from the MAS introducing or announcing what we call the Equity Market Development Program. It's kind of like a revival program to spur interest in the entire Singapore equities market. And that has shown over the past 1 to 2 months. We have seen a lot of strength coming, a lot of liquidity coming back, a lot of interest coming back to many of the smaller to mid-cap stocks. Not just the banks, of course, DBS and some of the banks have pushed up as well. Not too bad, but some of the funds have flowed into what we call the small caps to mid caps, right? So MAS have allocated like $5 billion, all right? And I think they have earmarked about $1.1 billion allocated to like 3 fund managers for now, right, to be deployed, all right, into Singapore equities, right? So there's another 5 minus 1.1, which is like $3.9 billion yet to be allocated, yet to be, kind of like deployed and earmarked, right? And that's where I think it created a lot of interest, a lot of positive sentiment and strength for the entire Singapore market, right? The STI. All right. Okay, seems like we've got a few alert on this stock right up here. Maybe we'll check it out in a bit. Right. Okay. Now, so that's the STI, right? So that's the reason why we're seeing strength in the market. It looks pretty bullish still, and there could still be more upside. All right, as this MAS revival, equity market development program slowly get followed through, all right, and it gets executed step by step. That's where we could see even more upside, right? So it could just be the beginning. It could just be the beginning, right? And based on what we're seeing technically on the charts as well, I think we're poised for more upside as long as we stay above some of the key support levels like the 4,300 right now. All right, okay, so that is the Singapore Straits Times Index. Okay, now very good. Now that we have done what we call a quick market analysis on the STI, I'm going to go through, all right, the Singapore stocks that you guys want a quick opinion on, right? So go ahead to type in the chat right now. Go ahead, type in the chat right now. What are some of the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on? Give us a bit of context, like I mentioned just now. Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? You got in at what price? You want to sell at what price? Or you don't know what to do? All right. I mean, give us a bit of context now so that when we look at the stock, we know what are you asking. All right. So I'm going to go look through all the chat messages right now. Give me some time, guys, because this is the first time I'm looking at it. But let me go to go through and see what could be some of the good stocks I could talk about like today. All right. So let me just go through. Okay, maybe I can cover the very first stock for today, all right, by Chi-Sing. All right, Chi-Sing, good to see you here as well, joining us. DBS, let me just write it down, all right. The first stock would be DBS. I mean, one of the very popular, the banking stock, that probably all of you know, DBS. Okay, so let's talk about DBS right now. DBS, let me go ahead to just pull out DBS real quick, and that would be right up here, DBS Group Holding. Let's see, right? Okay, so this is DBS, right? The very first stock for today, right? And trading at about 51.96, 51.96. So you can see, right, for DBS, very quickly, I've already turned on the 1GT Pro indicator, right? Pump, gone, right? No more signals, pump, turn it on. So you can see that we actually got a couple of the bullish signals coming out since like November last year, all the way up, all right? Not always bullish, sometimes got bearish as well. You can see it starts coming down as well, all right? But I think we saw a very good reversal somewhere in like end of April. We got on the 23rd of April to be exact, right? We got a 1GT bullish signal. Another one came out on the 7th of July, all right? And it went up even faster, okay? And can you see any red color bearish signal right now? What do you mean by red color there? This one, right over here, you can see this red color. If you see like over here or here or here, and then maybe you want to be careful, all right? But from what I'm seeing right now, I can't see any red color. I don't know whether you guys can see, right? But it seems like there's no red bearish signal right now. But we are indeed seeing a bit of profit taking, right? So back to your question, DBS, Chi-Sing, right? You bought at $42 you bought. That means you bought it over here, right? Right over here. Well, congrats. Do you see this bullish signal, Chi-Sing? All right, so maybe you saw this bullish signal and you got in at 42. All right, 42 to now it's 52. You sure make money at it. Congrats, congrats, right? So great. So now you're thinking about, hey, maybe you should take some profit. Maybe you should keep. Maybe should buy some more. All right, right? Or don't know whether it can go up some more, right? Let's find out. Let's find out what you should do, right? So. But thanks for giving me the context. Like, you have already bought at $42. You are definitely making money. What are some of the things you could do right now to protect your profits, right? Of course, make more will be good, but you want to take that to protect your profits such that you don't, from making a lot of profits, then become like a bit, then become like no more, right? No, you want to take steps to protect your profits, right? So let's take a look at DBS right now. So longer term trend is up. Look at this, right? Longer term trend is up. The red line, 100 days moving average, is pointing up. The blue line, 200 days moving average, is pointing up. Red above the blue. So that's how we look at the long term trend. We normally want to buy stocks whereby the longer term trend is up. All right, it should not be down. I mean, down means like for the past 5 months, 8 months, 10 months, 1 year, 2 years is down. It's going down every other day, going down every other month. That one we don't like this type of stock. I mean, it's cheap, I agree, but we don't like stocks like that. We like stocks which are strong, which have the potential to move even higher, right? They might be a bit more expensive, no choice, but at least they are strong. All right, and you can see that DBS has been in a longer term uptrend. And look at the red and blue line since like last year, not last month, last year already. Uptrend until now already, in case you're still wondering when, already very long already, okay, again. And it is still in a longer term uptrend right now, all right? However, in the short term, it doesn't mean it's going up every single day. In the short term, you can see in April, we went down, all right? Somewhere in January this year, we went sideways, got a bearish signal as well. So it's not always that bullish, all right? So the short term trend, we look at what we call the green 20 days moving average line. So you can see up, then flat in like June, a bit boring. Somewhere in July, woke up, the green line started to point up. Does it make sense? All right. So is the green 20 days moving average line still pointing up? I think it's still pointing up. All right. I mean, right, you can see quite clearly it's still pointing up right now. So I think not too bad. Long-term trend is up. Short-term trend is up. We're still looking pretty good. And the key here is that we have also broken what we call the $51. So $51 was a very key psychological resistance level whereby, for August, for more than a month now, you can see our touch come down. We just couldn't get above $51. All right. But what happened was on Wednesday, which is like 2 days ago now, today is Friday, right? Wednesday, we saw quite a bullish candle, right? Quite a very strong breakout above that $51. In fact, a bit too strong. Then there was some selling came back around that $53. So, but sorry, right? So, but the fact is that we have gone above that $51. So this $51 will now be what we call a little bit of a support level, a horizontal support level. So I can draw what we call a green line right up here. So I think the range right now is like 51 to 53. We are definitely seeing a bit of profit taking near 53, right? So back to your question, Jiseng, right? I think if you want to take some profit near that 53 resistance or maybe near 55 resistance, a little bit along the way, that's fine, all right? Nothing wrong to take some profit, put some money in your pocket, right? But if you are, from what I'm looking at right now, I think it still looks good, right? It still looks good, just that we're seeing some resistance, some selling near that 53. So take some profit if you want. Maybe it dips down to near 51, it could be a good entry again to think about getting in, right? And what I can do right now is to also get another confirmation, right? So you can see we got two 1GT bullish signals coming out, as I mentioned, right? Since April, even in July, we got another one, even faster, right? And there is no bearish signal, right? But what we could do is to turn on another powerful feature of the One Good Trend Pro indicator that I'm using right over here, the trailing support and resistance. Let's turn it on and see what it says. So you can see once I turn it on, right, there we go. The trailing support, this green line that trails, that follows DBS as it moved up since April. You'll see it was, when it popped up, it was right over here at about $36.87, right? And as prices, as DBS move up, it follow, up, flat. Of course, when it never go up, then nothing to follow, so it remain flat. But once it starts moving up, it follow, right? But when you follow, you don't follow too closely. So you give it some breathing space, a bit of allowance to hopefully move higher. You account for natural volatility, and any natural pullbacks will be fine, all right, as long as you stay above it, right? So from $36 or $37, it follow until now become $50 already. All right, are we still above it? Yeah, we are still above it. All right, in fact, there's still some space, all right, between the price and the trailing support. So if you want to think about entry, so you could take some profit, right? If you want near 53, 52 plus, if you dip a little bit to near the trailing support or maybe even the horizontal support right over here, I think that's potentially where an entry could be taken again to potentially ride a rebound all the way up as it retests that 53 psychological resistance level right now. So I think DBS looks good still, all right? All indications are still pointing up, just that near 53, some selling has come back. We've gone up by quite a fair bit, so it's normal to see a bit of profit taking. So I think it's healthy. We're going to see profit taking, come back down a bit, consolidate a bit, move sideways a bit, pump, we move higher again, all right? That's what we call a healthy and sustainable uptrend. And I think that DBS is showing that exactly, all right? And hopefully it could be a good entry if it dips a little bit to near those support levels that I talk about. All right, so I hope that helps. All right, that is the very first stock for today, DBS. Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn, right, to cover the next Singapore stock for you guys. Bervyn, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Let's see who we got here. Let's go. Okay, pick this. Shah, Seatrium. Good morning, Shah. So, brought 3 months back and have not made yet. Can buy more. Okay, Shah. First of all, good morning. Welcome back to our weekly AMAS session. So you say you bought 3 months back. Let's just see 3 months back. So roughly around May, roughly within May. Let's just say about $2 to about $2.10 would be roughly your cost price. Have not made yet. I believe you maybe will be sitting on a little bit of profits already, because from 210 to 234, at least a 10% profits there. Still pretty modest. So I think have not made yet. I think we mean is have not sold yet lah. Have not sold it yet. Can buy more. Great question. All right, so let's just take a look at Seatrium for a little bit here. We can see that since that sell down in February all the way to April, prices have rebounded. Rebounded from that first 1GD signal in 23 of April all the way until now. That's a 27% rebound already. Really not too bad. But I think in the period of May to about July, prices were pretty much consolidating between $2 to that 210, finally breaking above that 210 level, which was pretty much like a resistance level at that point of time. On the 15th of July, it broke above. We had another 1GT bullish signal coming right in, and prices pushed very, very close to that 250 psychological level. Didn't quite, test it, but came close to it, and then sellers came in. Then right now, we are seeing a little bit of a consolidation closer or within this range. So I would say right now, we are looking at the temporary support or support level close to that $2.30 level. So this was back then in early 2025, was a resistance, came down, break below it in February. Finally, I think in the last few months, prices actually came close, tested it. And indeed, we actually see some buyers coming in expecting this level as well. So I think it is a good support to be looking at this point. So I think the longer term moving average, I think at some point came very close to each other. See that blue line and red line most intersecting, and then the blue line, the red line, or the 100 days moving average pushing off from that 200 days moving average once again, I think somewhere in the late of August. So I think a little bit of consolidation is coming in, or is still taking place at this point. As you can see that 20 days moving average, 20 days moving average was previously sloping down, and then right now it had pretty much flattened out or leveled out already. All right, so Shah, I think if you are looking at Seatrium, I think you're probably looking to see if you can lock in some profits, or whether you should lock in some profits. I would say you're a little bit of a no man's land right now. You got the support close to that $2.25 to $2.30 level, but the resistance is very close to that 250 level. So I think you kind of want to wait to see if prices are able to head towards that 250, test that level again, maybe something like sometime in July. Yes, and then I would say if you want to take some profits, take some money off the table, I said that's fine as well. But I think what's most important right now, so you want to protect your downside. You want to lock in those profits as well. So you can see like what Joey had mentioned just now. Right, Joey had mentioned just now that this trailing support line trails the stock very closely, or close enough that it takes into account that natural volatility of the stock, giving it that additional room to breathe. Right, so I think you can see that on several occasions where prices tested at $2.25, $2.30 level, this trailing support was also tested, and prices have indeed rebounded from this level. So Shah, if you are looking to protect our downside, just place a trailing stop or limit order below that $2.25 level. Or in fact, you can actually just add an alert. Get yourself alerted, maybe 224, 223. You want to be alerted if that trailing support is broken. That's when you want to get out with your profits. Right. So there's always that saying, you don't want to go broke taking profits, right? So you don't want to have your position from a green, from in profits, to be in the red. So I think if prices are able to hit higher, great. Move that trailing stop limit order up, move that alerts up, shift those alerts up, and then perhaps even if that 250 is broken, can do a simple projection right here like that, shift it up. Oops, so sorry there. Okay, shift it up. I think the next upside could be even to 275 to 280, which represents an all-time high. But I think momentum is still looking present to 1GT bullish signal. If prices break that 250 level, think that momentum can continue on for Seatrium as well. All right, so that is for Seatrium. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight. I'll have the time now to Z to actually cover the next stock for you guys.
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, let me share my screen quickly. By the way, guys, because I have just changed my internet recently, right? So if let's say there's any technical issues today, please bear with me, all right? Okay, so I hope you are able to see my screen right now. And I think the next stock that I'll be covering will be by Keppel. No, will be by Maggie, and it's Keppel. Okay, is Keppel, all right? And I believe a lot of you guys already know this stock like Keppel. And I think over the past couple of months, this stock has been moving quite a bit, right? And I think it's on quite a number of people's radar as well. So let's take a look at Keppel today. Okay, so for Keppel right now, I already turned on the 1GT signal, right? And what we can see is very obviously there is a green 1GT bullish signal right over here that first appeared somewhere in April, right? And right now there is still no bearish signal yet, right? So I'm just curious, let me just see how many percentage have it risen, all right, to where we are at now, about 45%. Awesome, right? So for those of you guys who managed to actually catch along the way, or maybe somewhere near the 1GT bullish signal when it first came out, congrats, right? Congrats. You're probably sitting on about 45% profits. So let's take a look at some of the key levels down to think about, whether, like what Maggie is thinking, whether is it time to actually buy into a position, or if you're already holding on to a position, whether is it time to actually take some profits. All right, so as you can see over here, right, after the April low, prices indeed swiftly rebounded, right? And we can also tell from the moving averages. So first of all, if we just purely take a look at the moving averages now, what we can see is that the moving averages is showing an uptrend, right? Uptrend is actually intact. Green line is pointing up, red line is pointing up, blue line is actually pointing up, right? So this, in terms of the uptrend wise, it is definitely still firm, right? It's still firm. And over here, what we can see is that this price, right now, this is almost live, like trading view price is almost live. It's about $8.60 right now. And over here, $8, right? I would say actually $8 is one of the psychological resistance previously, right? And you can see that for the past about 1 to 2 weeks or so, somewhere in July, right over here, it has been testing the $8 level, right? It's a psychological level. It has been testing, and eventually it managed to went even higher and is firmly holding above the $8 level, right? And $8, I would say, definitely will still remain as a psychological support lah. And in terms of resistance wise, you can see that somewhere there will around this $8.85, around this level, or maybe even $8.80, right? This level right here, we are seeing some signs of selling pressure returning, right? Right over here, you can see that, there's a very long bearish candlestick as well. And over the past, at the start of September, right, over the past 2 weeks, right, we can see that price actually attempted to reach this $8.85, but not even able to touch it, right? Selling pressure came back in, and right now it seems to be holding above, and it's kind of like consolidating sideways. But what we know is that price is currently what we call in a potential sell zone, right? Because it is near a resistance level, right? So let me just change this to red. So to answer Maggie's question, right, based on the Joey's 1GT framework, when we are thinking about buying, we don't want to buy near a resistance, right? Because that is where we know selling pressure would potentially come back, right? So what we want to do is we want to buy near a potential support, or a support zone, right? A support zone, because that is where we know that buyers will come in to actually support the prices. So of course, like we've mentioned, $8 is one of the psychological support to note, right? But I don't know, of course, if you want to ask me whether the price will actually go back to $8 for you to buy, I don't know, right? I don't know. But one function, right, that just now Bervyn showed you guys is the trailing support and resistance function, whereby you can use it to actually place your stop loss, protect your downside. But on the other hand, this function is also able to help you, to actually see where is the dynamic support, right? Because that's what Bervyn mentioned earlier on. If prices continue to move up, this trailing support will also move up as prices move up, accounting for volatility, right? So as you can see now, the $8 psychological support is what we drawn ourselves, right, manually, right? But based on the trailing support, you can see that the trailing support is somewhere around this $8.20, 25 cents, right? This level. This is also where you can potentially set some price alert, right? To actually alert you if prices were to retrace back to this level for you to actually potentially take a position. All right. So in terms of setting alerts, right, I think what would be good, we can actually set one alert somewhere around this level, maybe $8.30, $8.27, somewhere around this support zone near the trailing support, and that's where you can potentially position yourself for entry. And in terms of resistance wise, definitely near the $8.85. And if prices can break and hold above this $8.85, I think potential upside target, right, that we are looking towards, right, probably will be towards the 950, 960, you know, this level right over here, 950, 960. I think that is where we can potentially see some selling pressure returning once more. All right. So Maggie, I hope that helps some of the levels that potentially can take note for Keppel. All right. With that, I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you, Z. All right, let me go ahead to cover the next stock for today, all right? And that would be this company called Food Empire. Food Empire. In fact, I got alerted, all right? There were some pop-ups over here, and I saw one of the chat messages by, let's see, Mifi. Mifi, right? Hi, good morning. F03, Food Empire. You bought at 1.79. All right, now it's what price? Now it's 2.52. Wow, congrats to you. Sure, make money already, right? Okay, should hold or sell. So maybe, you know, you sell, then what if go up some more, right? And then wasted, right? You know, and then you also maybe want to take some profit, all right? Should hold or sell, or maybe take some profit. Let's find out. Okay. So let's see. So you can see this is Food Empire right now. And, you know, just now, right? Just now, you know, if when I started, I saw a few pop up over here. So I actually set some alerts for Food Empire. You want to put this down on your watch list because look at some of the alerts, right? Set, right? 252, 251, 253. And I realized, hey, that was Food Empire, which you asked, right? So we got alerted because we are actually attempting to break this very key resistance level, all right? And this will be what I call the $2.50 psychological resistance level, all right? So before I talk about this resistance, let me just take a step back and let's see what has happened over the past 2-3 months. You can see, right, in May, all right, we got what we call a 1GT bullish signal somewhere in February that really kick-started the whole rally, all right, when we were just around that $1, right, we got the first 1GT bullish signal. So all the way up in April, Trump said something about tariff, got a bearish signal, came down for 1-2 weeks, and in April, right, a new 23rd of April to be exact, right? We got a new 1GT bullish signal. And of course, the trend started to turn up, the green line turned up, the long-term trend was already up. And there we go, right? From here all the way to now, I would say it's a 93%, right? In about 5 months, 93%. Wow, that's amazing, right? So I think you got it maybe somewhere around here, 1.79. Not too bad, slightly more expensive than here, but okay, at least got still make money, right? So you're 1.79, you got in over here. Not too bad, this has gone up as well, right? So let's go back to your question, right? Could we see more upside? Should you hold? Should you sell? If you actually asked me last week, like if you asked me like last week or what, then like for example, let's say you asked me over here, right? And then we are today over here, right? I would say that 250 would be a very critical psychological resistance. I'll tell you that, you know, maybe you want to sell, you can sell some near 250, 248, 247, 249, 45, you know, 40 something, right? You can take some profit. Why? Because the past 1 over month, every time we hit there, we come back down, hit there, come back down. So that's what I would tell you last week, all right, if, you know, we're still below that 250. But if you ask me today, and I got a few alerts right there, and it seems like we're now attempting to break above that $2.50. So a bit of support. You can see it was like 220 to 250. Up, then down, then up, then down, then up, then down, then now up, but never come down. Seems like we are actually attempting to break the $2.50 psychological resistance, right? So this is live. I mean, it's like 2.52 right now, it's live. I mean, the market hasn't closed it. Now it's only about 11 a.m. All right. But I think if we can stay above that 250 today, all right, or next week, next Monday, Tuesday, all right, over the next few days, that could be where we would have finally lift off, right? This sideways consolidation that we've seen over the past 1 over month. Look at the green line. The green line was like flat, boring, So you got in over here, right? Lucky for you, it started to turn up, right? Up, and then we're boring again, right? Sideways. But I can tell you right now, because we are actually attempting to break the 250, right? There are some signs, of the green 20 days moving average line starting only, I haven't really, as I say, only one day, right? So it's starting to point up. So if you can, stay above 250, as I say, right, the green 20 days moving average line points up more firmly as another confirmation. Maybe we might get another 1 GT bullish signal like this one as another confirmation. I think that's where we are poised to hit even higher. Targets could be revised. Let's see, right? From here to here, we could do a little bit of a projection, right? So that would be what we call a 30 cents range, 220 to 250, right? Up, down, we could project it up over here. I would say next upside targets could be to $2.80 first. So 280, then after maybe to $3. That could be the next upside targets, right? So Miffy, I hope that answers your question, right? If you ask me whether should hold or sell now, if you ask me last week, I would say maybe take some profit. But right now, because we're actually attempting to break 250, actually, I'm more thinking like, a potential entry, a more aggressive entry could be taken as well to ride even more upside, all right? Not really to sell, because I think that's where we are starting to see a bit more strength in terms of more upside momentum as well happening, right? In next few days, if we can hold above that 2.50. So let's see, right? Let's see, is this playing out right now? Probably have to see by the end of today, or maybe end of, the next few days, next week as well. That will be very critical. All right, so I hope that, if it holds above 250, it pushes up more. You can take some profit near 280, the next resistance if you want, or near $3 if you want, nothing wrong. All right, and any pullback could be a good entry again. All right, so that would be for Food Empire, not too bad, a stock. Thanks for sharing with us this stock right over here, and that would be Food Empire F03. Right, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, let's see. Here we go. We got Ian. Thoughts on SGX per 1 GT on what RLSL accumulate for dividends or take some profits bought at $9.85. Okay, cool. Let's see. Throw it up on the screen. $9.85. So I think Ian, you probably have been holding on to SGX for quite a while now. You should have been holding on for at least 1 year, right? At least a year already. And I think from $9.85, if you just roughly draw $9.85 to now, okay, that is close to 70% gain already. So accumulate or take some profits. I would say at this point for SGX, if you just let me just zoom out a little bit more again. You can see that longer term uptrend has been very much intact since the time that you have bought it. I think you got in at a very good entry where you started to see the 100 days, 200 days moving average pointing up, the 20 days moving average pointing up. That's when you had gotten in and you had ride that uptrend all the way. A couple of 1 GT bullish signals showed up along the way. A couple of 1 GT bearish signals have also appeared. But I think most recently, we just focus right here. We got 1, 2, 3 1 GT bullish signals still in play, all right, Ian? So you want to actually, maybe take the opportunity to see if prices are able to actually hit higher, because this is one of those stocks that is also on our watch list as well. And I think a couple of notes have been also sent out on it as well. So you want to actually just take a look at right here. Prices have approached that $17 resistance. One time right here, and now it looks like, hey, this morning it's tried to push higher, but not quite yet. A little bit of selling actually coming, but nothing to worry about. All right, why? Is because that 1560 level, still looks intact, that key support level where prices tested once, twice. And if you're looking for a little bit of a nearer term support, I think one can be found around like the 1620 level. That is another temporary support that you can actually watch out for as well. That 20 days moving average is still definitely pointing up, right? It's not pointing down just yet. Previously, it flattened out a little bit, but the momentum caught right back up, and it's still pointing right back up. So if you're looking to take a little bit of profit, say somewhere close to $17, fine. Right, reduce a little bit of the exposure. Maybe you can free up some of those capital. But if you are even intending to continue to ride that trend, right, that's fine as well. You can even consider to, accumulate on the dips. If prices come close to that $16.35 level. So if I were to just turn on that trailing support and resistance line, you can see that the trailing support is about just slightly about 1570, 15, let's call it 1580, all right? And that temporary support is above this trailing support. So you can consider to accumulate somewhere here if you want to build on your positions. And if prices fall, all right, then you have a little bit of risk. You have a little bit of exposure, right? If prices fall below that 1580 level, yeah, then that's when you consider a stop loss trend below that trailing support. But as of right now, I don't think there's much to worry about anymore as well. And then with the new MAS equity development program, the additional $5 billion that is coming in, I think SGX could be one of those counters or one of those companies that actually benefits from this because they are the clearinghouse, they are the exchange, right? So if that $17, right, is broken, where should we draw our next target to first? Because it's an all-time high, got to use a projection, just project it upwards from that 1620 level. I think close to that $18 or maybe that 1780 level is the next level where you could potentially see a little bit of consolidation happening, right? Or some profit taking even coming in. Because not only like yourself, some people have also been holding onto SGX for a while. Nothing wrong for them to be profit taking close to that level and then coming back in if prices find a new support again. All right, Ian, I think that is for SGX. Congratulations, I think, but continue to watch it and continue to place some alerts, maybe above $17 first. All right, so back to you, Z, to cover the next stock.
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, let me share my screen. All right. Okay, so I think the next stock that I'll be covering will be Centurion, right? By ukulele bug. By the way, just a fun fact, I actually bought a ukulele last time, right? But then I realized I'm not really musically talented. So the ukulele is just kind of like sitting in the storeroom. So I think I will just be focusing on charts more. I think that will be more, that will be better. Okay, so anyway, let's take a look at Centurion, all right? So Centurion, as you can see, based on the chart wise, definitely the longer term uptrend, right, is actually intact, right? The red and the blue line definitely have been pointing up since quite some time back already, right? Even back in like 2024, we are already seeing signs of it. The longer term trend is definitely intact, right? But the short term trend, it was actually going up. Then you can see that somewhere at the start of 2025, it tapered out, right? It actually went sideways for a bit, and then after that, it actually went back up again. And right now, over the past couple of months, since the start of July, what we are seeing is that there's sideways movement for the 20 days moving average. It's kind of like just going sideways, right? And what do we see in terms of the 1GT signals? We are currently seeing a 1GT bearish signal, right? But the thing is that when we see a 1GT bearish signal, does it mean that the stock will crash, we should immediately sell? No, right? It doesn't mean that, right? It doesn't mean that we just see the signals, right, and then we just take action, because at the end of the day, we got to see the entire picture. We got to see the context of it, right? Where is price at with regards to the support and the resistance level as well, and also whether is the longer term uptrend still intact, right? Because right now prices is actually like kind of like consolidating sideways, right? And that is what is showing on the 20 days moving average as well, right? But what do we see in terms of the longer term trend? The red and the blue line, is it still intact? Is it still pointing up? Yes, it's actually still pointing up. And to reinforce what Joey first said right at the start, right, when we actually see sideways consolidation, right, is it a good thing? Actually, yes, it's actually a good thing, because it actually makes the uptrend even more sustainable, right? Price go up, consolidate sideways, and if consolidate sideways and can break above the resistance, great, right? That is what makes the uptrend sustainable, and that is where likely we will actually see the 20 days moving average, right, will also start to show signs of it pointing back up again. All right. So back to Centurion in terms of the levels for us to actually take note, right? Number one, support level wise definitely will be at $1.60. Right, $1.60, because this is where prices actually broke above, retested somewhere in July, right, the mid of July, right over here, when we got the 1GT bearish signal. But buyers came in to support the prices, right? And currently, is it still holding above 160? Yes, right. And in terms of resistance wise, I think one of the very, very strong resistance, right, will be at this $1.80, because you can see that over the past couple of months, this level has been tested multiple times, not just one time, two times, but multiple times. And in fact, if you were to just zoom in on the candlestick, right, over the past couple of days, right over here, right, just 2 days ago, just yesterday, right, on the 11th of September, just focus on this candlestick. Actually, this is a I would say it's a very bearish candlestick. Why? Because we are seeing very long upper shadow, and this happens exactly near this resistance level, right? The 180 resistance level. And what does that indicate? It indicates that there is quite a lot of selling pressure. Like the sellers are there ready to actually push the price back down. That's why it's unable to break above the 180, right? At this point, like even today, price actually opened above, right? Open above the 180. I think open at let me see, 182, right? But right now, price of course is still trading, right? And then it is below the 180. I don't know whether today will hold above or break above the 180 or not. I'm not sure, right? I cannot predict. But if it does, great. But what we want to monitor is that it breaks above, but must be able to hold above it for a couple of days, right? Or maybe even a couple of weeks, right? To give it more certainty that price indeed found a new higher support at 180. All right. So to answer Ukulele Bug, your question, you say you have some holdings thinking whether we should actually sell. So you have some holdings and you are thinking about selling, right? I think it is okay to think about that, right? It's okay to think about that, especially at the 180 level, we are seeing very strong resistance, right? So right over here, I would say right now, right, we are actually indeed at the potential sell zone, right? Because it is definitely testing the resistance. But do you have to sell everything? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you want to sell, you take some profits. I think it's fine. Maybe half position, 1/3, it's okay. Because what we are seeing is that the longer term trend, right, is actually still intact. And prices have been consistently testing this 180 resistance. So if prices is actually able to break and hold above this 180, potential upside targets that we are looking towards, right, will be this $2 lah, right? Because number one, it is a simple projection up based on the range that it was trading over the past couple of months. And number two, $2 is also a psychological resistance. Okay, so based on this, I hope it helps in terms of some of the levels that you can actually take note of. And if prices break above 180, I think very likely we will also be able to see a 1GT bullish signal whereby it gives you another layer of confirmation or another layer of conviction for the uptrend. All right, so that would be for Centurion. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Zee. Let's move on to the next one, and that will be the next company called Zhejiang Shipbuilding. All right, asked by Evelyn Yap. Right, you bought Zhejiang at $3 plus. I think maybe $3. Is it still in the uptrend? When to take profit? So thank you so much for giving us a bit of context, right? So you bought it, right? Looking to sell, maybe you want to hold, maybe you can go up some more, can make more profit, right? So let's go ahead to find out. And guys, I've looked at the chat. We have looked at the chat, and there's more than 70, 60, 80 over stocks, right, in the chat. So first thing first, I just want to say our apologies if we cannot cover all of it. Guys, you can see there's just so many stocks to cover. It'll probably take like 10 hours to cover everything, right? So we'll try to pick the most popular one, those that a little bit more promising as well, all right? And whereby we are maybe a bit more, we feel for that stock a little bit more, and then we might cover it. But just to share that, if we cannot cover it, really, really very sorry, all right? We don't have time to cover all of it, all right? So let's go ahead to do it right now. Zhejiang Shipbuilding. Evelyn, you can see this is Zhejiang at about $3.19. 19 cents. So you can see I quickly turn on the 1GT Pro indicator, all right? And of course, you can see some bullish signals have came out somewhere over here in May, 7th of May, another one 14th of July, and then went up even faster, all right? But it's not always all bullish. Like previously, you can see we got two bearish signal. That was in February, right? February, even before the April tariff, right? Wow, we got two bearish signal, and we started to sell all the way down. So you want to be careful. Like if you see a bearish signal, red color, the green line also start to turn down. Then of course, don't go and buy all right? You want to wait for stability. You want to wait for signs of a reversal, right? Before thinking about getting in again. And did that come? Yeah, it came, all right? Based on the bullish signal, it actually came, pump, right? Green 20 days moving average line point up. And let's see right now, right? The green line, the 20 days moving average line, it is still pointing up. So I would say that the short-term trend is still okay. It's still okay. And if you look at the longer-term trend, look at the red and the blue line. Well, preferably, right? We want to see the 100 days moving average, the red line go above the blue line, all right? So red above the blue, both pointing up, that what we call an ideal uptrend, all right, in the longer term, all right, and the longer term trend would have officially have turned up. So you can see right now, haven't yet but I think in the next few weeks, all right, if you can, break the 320, or later I talk about the 320 resistance, but if you can break the 320 and push higher, I can tell you guys that is where we're going to get another confirmation of the longer term trend, red going above the blue, both pointing up, something like something like, well, quite long ago, right? And it was pretty good long-term uptrend all the way from 2021, 2022, all the way to 2020, beginning of the year, and then, you know, we sold off, right? So if we see the red going above the blue, I think that's where it could be more positive as well. So now let's take a look at the resistance level. So I think this is a very key resistance you want to take note of. Look at this, right? Previously in February, right, we hit it to around at 320, right? And then you can see we got two, not one, but two 1 GT bearish signal, and we sold all the way down. All right. And if you take a look at it right now, we are pretty much back to the same level at about $3.20. Does it make sense, All right. That is pretty much where we are right now. So it is normal to see some profit taking. It is normal to see some selling pressure. All right. So back to your question, should you take some profit? Well, I mean, you have got in about $3, all right? So, well, there's some profits to make. Of course, you got in a bit, even earlier, like based on these bullish signals when you alerted. Then I would say how many percent? I mean, from here to here, it's about a 39, 40% in about 2 months. I would definitely want to take some profit. I didn't say all, I say some, all right? Why? Because I think it's normal to take some profit. It's fine, lock it in, put some money in your pocket, all right? But there are no signs of it coming down or no weakness as of now. There's no bearish red color signal coming out like previously, right? So I think it's still okay. So take some is fine, but I think that there might be a potentially more upside if, all right, we can break the $3.20, $3.20 resistance level. All right. You might ask me when, all right? I don't know. I don't know when, right? To be honest, if I know, that would be good. But what I can see is that over the past few weeks or past few days, we are actually attempting. So I think on this Tuesday, right? Tuesday, we went to a high of about 3.23. All right. So it was a pretty good bullish candle, but then sellers came back and pushed it all the way down back below 320 again. And it closed like 3.18. Right. The past few days also, like, like want to go down, go, that kind of thing, right? Like not very clear. So I think 320, but that's normal, because as I say, 320 is a firm resistance, right? So you're supposed to see selling them, right? So it is perfectly normal, all right? So what you can do is that you want to take some profit near 319, 318. I think that's fine. Go ahead. But what I'm looking at is, you can see I've set some alerts right over here, right? 323 324 maybe let's do 325 or so, right? I think we break the 320, we stay above it. I get alerted as well. That could potentially trigger more upside. We may even get another bullish signal as well, all right, to lead the next phase higher, all right? And that could be what we call another level up, right? Targets could be revised, maybe all the way to that $3.50 to $3.60 level. So that's what I'm looking for, right? It hasn't happened yet, but I think if that happens, we break 320, targets could be revised even higher. That's where you could let it ride even more to make even more profits. Does it make sense, All right. And one thing I'm going to share with you guys as well is that, Evelyn, look at this, right? So I have this trailing support feature right over here. Let's turn it on. And there we go, right? So you can see that when this bullish signal came out, a trailing support popped up, right? Since May, popped up, follow, flat up, follow. Now we're right above it. So if we're still above it, there's still space. I mean, we give it the space to breathe and we follow it, right? Are we above it? Yes, we're still above it, right? I mean, yes, been above it since like May, so quite long already, right? And so as I say, we give it the space, we're still above it. It looks good. That's another confirmation. So far, there are no signs of it showing weakness, just that the 320 is a resistance. We just need to clear first, All right, once you clear that, pump. Another face up, all right? That is what I'm looking for, right? So nothing wrong to take some profit, but I think if that 320 were to give way, potentially the next phase of upside, right? Targets could be revised even higher. Okay, Ken? So that is for Yang Zhejiang Shipbuilding, all right? Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next stock.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, let's see. Okay, Kunal. Hi, Kunal. Good morning. So, bought Singtel at 320. What is the price to... Is the price at the resistance level or any further upside? All right, so let me just turn this off very quickly. All right, so let's see. Singtel is what we got right now. I think still looking very good. Just a quick glance, that 100 days, 200 days moving average obviously still sloping up. 20 days moving average still showing momentum. All right, 20 days moving average very close to that 430 support level. I think this morning, prices have rebounded from this level, I think on the Tuesday, 9 of Sep as well. So that's 4 days ago. Prices have rebounded from this level. Is it currently at a resistance level? I think you could find maybe a temporary resistance around that 440, but I have drawn it up to that 450 psychological level first. we still have a couple of 1GT bullish signals. So very quickly you can see that yes, momentum is still present. So is there further upside? I would say if prices are able to consolidate a little bit more, all right, let's consolidate a little bit more and break above that 450 level. Yes, then as long as that 450 new support level, if it's broken, is able to hold, definitely there could be more upside. So should you sell or should you hold? I would say, like many times I think during this AMAS session, we have said there's nothing wrong. There's really nothing wrong to actually sell some of your positions. Some so it could be 1/3, 20% of it, depending on how many shares you have. Sell some of it close to a resistance level. Leave some to continue to ride the upside. I think that is ideally the best case scenario, especially if you see, especially if you see 1GT bullish signals still in play. But of course, you see multiple bearish signals coming in play, then down, maybe not the best to be holding already lah. Maybe you will be experiencing a little bit of weakness. Sell some, protect some of those profits. But as of right now, I would still say Singtel still looking good, still having that 1GT bullish signals. You got the key level about $4.30. So perhaps for yourself, you would want to set up some alerts. Set up some alerts to let yourself be alerted if prices cross that 450 level. So maybe 452, 453 as prices hit higher, you want to be alerted. Use that trailing support. All right, trailing support right now is around that 414 level, 414 level. Use that trailing support as a gauge. Right? Use that trailing support as a gauge for your stop loss levels, because you have bought at 320, you are already sitting on profits of about $1.15, $1.15, close to that. You want to be able to at least enjoy some of those profits. So I think the other alert that you should set up would be that condition, change it to that 1GT Pro indicator, change it to a buy or sell alert. Why are we doing this? Is because you want to be alerted, especially if there's a 1GT bearish signal. Because obviously, we do not spend our whole day sitting in front of the Singtel chart waiting for it to go higher, then you can sell. You just want to be alerted, and once you receive the alert, log into your trading view, take a look what's going on, then decide from there. If there's another 1GT bullish signal that's coming up, great. It's time to shift your alerts up, shift your stop limit order up. But if it's a 1GT bearish signal coming in, then maybe even perhaps that 410 previous support is broken, then maybe it's time to protect some profits, get out first, then wait for prices to stabilize. But as of right now, 20 days moving average still showing momentum. So I think let's watch out for that 450 level to be broken or to be tested first. All right, good enough. Okay, so I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, so the next stock that I'll be covering will be AEM, right? I think First Last is actually asking about AEM. AEM bought at $1.51. Can advise will go higher, already waiting for weeks. Should I get out or move on to others? I realize one thing that a lot of people always like to ask us is whether the stock will actually go up or go down. But just let you guys know, actually Joey, Bervyn and myself, we cannot predict whether the stock will actually go up or go down. But what we can actually do is to take note of some of the levels, right? And see whether are there any confirmations that gives you the indication or likelihood that whether the uptrend is actually still intact, right? But we cannot predict whether it will go up or go down, okay? Because if we can predict, probably we also will not be here already lah, okay? Okay, so let's take a look at AEM, all right? So AEM, First Last, you mentioned that you bought at 151, right? I think now prices is trading about 156, and probably you're sitting on some profits, all right? Okay, so and then let's see for the signals, right? Right now, we actually saw that there is a 1GT bearish signal, right? And the 1GT bearish signal indicates that there is more selling pressure actually intact, right? There's more selling pressure that is intact. But based on the moving average, right, what we can see is that there could be a potential reversal in play. Because if you guys know for AEM, right, if we see AEM has been in a downtrend for quite a while already lah. If we were to zoom back, right, even somewhere at the start of 2020, somewhere at 2022, right, the downtrend already started forming, and it was down all the way, right? And right now we are starting to see some signs of the uptrend reversal potentially playing out, right? Because number one is that we are seeing that the longer term trend right now the red line has just crossed above the blue line. So that is the first indication, right? And the second indication, right, is that the short-term trend, right, actually, yes, 1GT bearish signal came out. What we are seeing is it pointed down, but right now it started to flatten out again, right? It has already started to flatten out. So it is showing some positive signs like that. If prices, right, can actually break and hold above the 160, I would say 160, as you can see over here, right, is actually one of the resistance level. If it can break and hold above 160 before pushing up even higher, right, and the moving averages all starts to align and point back up, right, I think very likely the potential uptrend reversal could be in play lah, because now it seems like it is just starting but have not yet, because it have not even broke above the 160, and we need to see more confirmation that the 20 days moving average, right, indeed starts to point back up. All right, so I would say 160 maybe is one of the levels that maybe first last you can actually take note of, because if prices were to break and hold above 160, I think the first target, right, that we are looking at towards will be definitely the 175, because as you can see 2025, I don't need to go all the way back until 2024 lah, just 1 year or maybe like 1.5 years max. All right, so 2025, as you can see right over here, selling pressure came back, right, 1GT bearish signal came out, and then somewhere in July, same thing, right over here about 175, that's where we actually started to see selling pressure return again, and then we saw another 1GT bearish signal. So I would say the first level that maybe perhaps you want to take note definitely will be around the 160, like 160 level. If prices can break and hold above, potential upside targets that we are looking at is towards the 175. And a very crucial support level that I think maybe perhaps you might want to take note of, right, would be this $1.40, because this is also very near the longer term moving average, like, because if prices, you know, it can also go like this, it can also go sideways, right, sideways, and then if, you know, it can also break below the 140, right? And 140, I would say, is one of the crucial support level, because if it does break below the 140, then very likely we might start to see more weakness returning, and this potential uptrend reversal likely would not play out, all right? So those are the levels, right, definitely I'll be taking note of, and those are some of the levels that perhaps you can set some price alert on as well. All right, first last, I hope that actually helps. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Let's move on to the next one, right? And I saw this very interesting stock that was asked, and this was a stock that have been in my watch list for quite a while now already. Let me go to pull out this, right? Ukulele bug, right? CNMC Goldmine, right? You got in at 67 cents, right? Maybe 67, so somewhere over here. How long to hold given the strong momentum? So just want to share that, you know, this stock has been in my watch list for a while. In fact, I think last week or last Monday, right, I actually got my team to send out a note by WhatsApp, all right, to our clients in Philips Securities for free, right? Let me know, guys, how many of you are actually a client of mine in Philips Securities, right, under me, Bervyn and Zee, and all my team members. Just type a C for client, if you are actually a client of mine in Philips Securities, you have a trading account under me, all right? Let me know. Just want to make, just to acknowledge all of you, those of you who are clients of mine in Philips Securities, type a C for client, let me know. All right. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to acknowledge you for your support as well. All right. Let's see who is a client of mine. I think maybe some of you are a lot. Oh, so many. Oh, okay. So I think a lot of clients over here. Thank you so much. Justin, Waitong, LV, Jennifer as well. Cynthia, Chising, definitely. All right. So client. I think those of you who have typed C for client, I mean, check it out. I think last week we sent out a note on CNMC. I think on the 1st of September or something like that, right? Check our WhatsApp, right? If you are receiving our daily WhatsApp, all right? I think on last week or something, I got my team to send out on CNMC Goldmine. I think right over here when we kind of like broke the resistance around that 64 cents. I think 1st of September, if I'm not wrong, right? So check it out. I think you probably receive a WhatsApp from me, those of you who are clients of mine in Philips Securities, right? So if you want to join, so guys, I mean, we have quite a lot of clients joining us right over here in our AMAS session as well, just to add more value to our clients, right? But for those of you who are not yet a client of mine in Philips Securities, that means you don't have a trading account under me in Philips Securities. That means you never receive any ideas daily by WhatsApp, all right? Then what you want to do is to check it out. The link is right in the chat, right? Check it out as to what are some of the services you can enjoy as a client of mine in Philips Securities, like all our clients over here as well, all right? Whereby, you know, we send some of the top Singapore ideas daily for free at no additional cost. Same as whatever you're paying when you're trading anyway, all right? So if you are like kind of like trading, you have a trading account in Singapore, you buy some stock and your broker never like send you anything, like no idea, no video, no training, no WhatsApp, you never call you, nothing. You also don't know who is he, or hotline or something, you call it for 5-10 minutes, kind, right? then you click on the link in the chat, you know, fill up the details, my team will reach out to you. So you can join all our clients over here, all right, like Alexander, like Denise, like John, Miffy, Vincent, Gurmit, all right? I mean, you can see for yourself, like I said, quite a lot of clients over here. So thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate those of you who are clients over here, but allow me to share for those of you who are not yet a client, all right? The link is right in the chat so that you could receive ideas like this on CNMC also faster lah. All right. Okay. Now let me go ahead to talk about CNMC right now. That you know who is asking about it. We have a ukulele asking about it, right? So you can see that we got a 1 GT bullish signal, all right, coming out right over here on the 23rd of July to be exact. In fact, even earlier in April, we got the first one, went up a bit, then was a bit boring sideways. We got a second one, and the momentum really started all the way up. A couple of WhatsApp was sent out. You can check, I think, but 1st of September, I think I did got my team, it was like 1st of the month or something. So I did remember that we got, we sent out a note right over here to our clients, all right, with a picture, a little bit of description, and it has since gone up, I would say. In fact, today, like, seems like going up higher. Not what? Oh, now 97 cents already. 52%. 52% in about 2 weeks. I mean, that's last Monday, all right? So it's not too bad, huh? All right. I didn't know so much. Okay, anyway, yeah. So, yeah, WhatsApp was sent out over here. In fact, I think earlier also maybe have, but we got a 1 GT bullish signal. It was triggered and it started to move up, right? So, back to your question, ukulele, right? 67 ukulele. Are you a client or not? Let me just check. I think you got type C or not? Just to confirm, all right? Just confirm. Let me see. Let's see if you're a client ukulele. Do you type C? Oh yeah, you type C. All right, awesome. Thanks for being thanks for your support, ukulele. All right, okay, so very good. So basically, you got in at 67 cents. So I think maybe you saw the WhatsApp lah. Is it? I think maybe you saw the WhatsApp over here, and congrats to you. All right, so 52%. Back to your question, right? How long to hold given the strong momentum? Well, I would say that right now, the longer term trend is up. Look at the red and blue line, it's been up since last year. The green line, obviously, still pointing up. Let me go to turn on the trailing support level, right? To give you a bit of an understanding of, where are we right now in terms of the space given for this stock to move up even more, all right? So let's find out. You can see, right, we got a 1 GT bullish signal. So the trailing support has popped up since April. Right over here, it popped out around that 30 cents. 30 cents, then it was like flat because never move up, so nothing to follow. So it was like flat, very boring, flat. But when we got the 1 GT bullish signal coming out in July, 24th of July, wow, then it started to move up, then it started to follow, right? Follow, up 30 cents now, follow until become 81 cents, all right, around here. So I think we're still above the trailing support level. And over the past few days, it seems like some support has came out maybe around the 90 cents level, right? Right over here, I think around 90 cents, right? Not even the trailing support. So trailing support is slightly lower. Why? Because you give the stock space, right? There's some space below it, but the horizontal support will be around the 90 cents. That doesn't really give it space. So we call a psychological horizontal resistance level. So 90 cents above, right? It seems like we're pushing away from 90 cents, but maybe heading towards the $1 psychological resistance level. So I think for ukulele, all right, I think take note. I think it still looks strong, to be honest. It still looks strong. Whether it will break $1, I don't know when, but you can see that I've already set some alerts right over here. 101 pump, 102, 103 pump. Maybe let's just do 104 so all right? A bit more kiasu, right? 104 105 all right? I don't know when it'll break but I know that when it goes to 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, my phone will ring non-stop. I'll receive the email, all right? And that's where I'll look at it again, all right? And that's where we get another confirmation whereby there could be more upside. So now it's what, 965. So you have got in at 67 cents, right? Based on what we have alerted you. Great. If you want to take some profit near the $1 at 98 97, 99, nothing wrong, nothing wrong. I mean, 50%, right? Okay, right? 50% from here to here, 52%, take some profit. It's okay, nothing wrong, right? I mean, depending on, I'm not too sure how many shares you buy. Let's say you buy 30,000 or 50,000 or what. You can take 10,000 so it depends. You can take sell half, don't sell half that's too much. I mean, maybe sell 1/3 1/4, just to lock in some profits, allowing the balance of the shares to potentially break the $1 to rise even more. All right, so that's what I'll do. Right? So as of now, I think it looks pretty good. All right, I'll be watching to see when the $1 actually gives way. All right, so that is CNMC Goldmine. So as I say, guys, if you want to find out a little bit more as to how to get some of those top ideas daily by WhatsApp for free, like many of our clients over here, like ukulele, all right, like Yen, let's see who is here, right? So some of you have type C as well, like Ivan, Esther, Yen, who thank you so much for the support, Madeline as well, Awesome. Check out, just place the link in the chat again, team. All right. And find out how you can become a client of mine in Phillip Securities for free to get some of those ideas in the Singapore market at no additional cost. You do not pay anything more, to be 100% clear. All right. It's the same as whatever you're paying when you're trading. So if you're trading, you don't get any service from your own broker, click the link and find out more. All right. Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next stock.
Thanks, Joey. All right. So maybe I want to take some time to just cover a few questions. I saw that in the chat. I think Lillian here was asking, I'm with Phillip Securities, but I'm not with you, Joey. So how? Very, very simply, like what Joey said, just click on the link that we have just sent in the chat, fill up the form there, and we will take it from there, right? So that is a very, very small issue if you're already in Phillip Securities. So that's the first step that's actually done already. Okay, so I think just now earlier on, I think I saw a very, very interesting question that actually I would like to talk a little bit more about it first. Mama Mia, are you still here? Can we talk about today's news on the first active bond ETF? Okay, so this is a very, very interesting question. So usually we don't cover this, but I just happened to saw this question and just wanted to talk about it a little more. Okay, so just let me stop my share screen right here and then share a different screen. So I think this is this one. I believe you are talking about this thing, right? First active bond ETF to be listed on SGX by end September. So if you ask me, are we able to do any technical analysis on this? I tell you no, the share is not listed yet. There's no way we can do any technical analysis on it. All right, no chart as of now. But if you're trying to find out a little bit more, I think this is very interesting alongside the equity development program that SGX have actually launched. They have also intending to launch, or the market, or the Leong Global company is actually intending to launch a first active bond ETF. Is this useful for you guys who are actually already trading the stock market? Absolutely, very, very useful. Why? It's because it takes into account, or it gives you exposure into your interest rate sensitivities. So if you are looking to hedge, or you are looking for a little bit of a safer asset, I think this is one of a kind. This is one of a kind in the Singapore market where you can actually get a bond exposure without, active bond portfolio exposure. I'm not buying individual bonds without being AI. So yes, typically there are some bonds that are listed on the stock exchange already. You can trade those bonds, but those are singular bond. This is an ETF made up of bonds. So Mama Mia, thanks for sharing about this. I think many people are looking forward to this. So if you guys are keen to participate in this IOP or this initial listing, and if you are a client under Joey in Phillip Securities and you need some help, all right, you need some help, or you're not too sure how to go about subscribing for this ETF, just drop a message to one of Joey's team members, and definitely he'll be able to help you. And then leading back to that, if you are not a client of Joey under Phillip Securities and you wish to find out a little bit more, you can just click on the link in the chat, and then I believe someone will be in touch to actually help you with all this process. Right, so it's a very interesting thing. I think it's listing in the end of September, I think 29 or September, something to look out for as well. Okay, so I'll just come back to talking about stocks right now, something that we can do a technical analysis on. Let me just see right here. Okay, so I think just now, someone was asking about Hong Leong Asia. I think Gurmit was asking about Hong Leong Asia. Vincent was asking about Hong Leong Asia. Okay, I think there was someone else as well. I think Pauline was also asking about Hong Leong Asia. So very, very highly requested stock. So see, there is so many things going on. So planning to buy Hong Leong Asia, please advise. 谢谢. All right, no problem. Vincent, look, already bought Hong Leong Asia at 1.61. Congratulations, it's 2.42 this morning. Then Gurmit bought long time ago at 1.08, sold some at 1.95, now priced at 240, possible upside towards where, so I can sell the rest. Great, so we got three different school of thoughts here, all right? Okay, so let's just cover Hong Leong Asia. Right now, let's see. We can see that for Hong Leong Asia, any prices before 2025, pretty much nothing happening. Just moving sideways, not much movement. But it really started to pick up when this 1GT bullish signal actually appeared on 19 July 2024. The 20 days moving average started to point up. That 100 days, 200 days started to point up subsequently in August 2024. And pump. I think in December of 2024, we got a few more, or January of 2025, we got a few more 1GT bullish signals coming right in. And I think it, needless to say, it had went up quite a little bit already. So I think for Gurmit, you bought at 1.08. You've probably been holding since the start of the year. All right, you have been watching the levels going higher and higher and higher. I hope you have been protecting your profits. I hope you have been setting alerts, all right, to get yourself alerted as prices move on to the next leg of their uptrend, the next leg again of their uptrend. You want to continuously follow as well. All right, so I think 3-1GT bullish signal, I think most recently for May, June, and then both in June, and it's still playing out. Zooming into like the closer time period, we can see that prices have broken what we call resistance level at around that 240 level previously, and tested the 260 level. Consolidated under it for about 3 days, not able to break above it, and sellers push back prices all the way down back to this 240. All right, so I think this 240 level is still currently being respected by those buyers out there. Prices are consolidating close to this 240. Is it going to rebound from this 240 level? I think your guess will be as good as mine, but we got a little bit of a bearish candlestick. But buyers are still here. Our buyers are still present, and that 20 days moving average is at that 240 level. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people have alerts being set up at that 240 level. If it breaks below, they want to protect some of their profits as well. So let's turn on that trailing support line. You can see that it is right around that 220 to 222 level as of now. All right, Gurmit. So if you are already sitting on some profits, you can use this trailing support as a reference. And even if, all right, so you have already bought some and sold some at 195, there's nothing wrong if prices hit higher, continue to show that momentum break above that 260. If you are looking to even get in a little bit more aggressive, looking to get in as well, I would say that is also fine. That is also a good plan to have. You can scale into your wins. Instead of just reducing position. Then eventually you will not have any exposure to Hong Leong Asia already. So now you have the opportunity to perhaps even continue building on your position as long as that 240 position holds. All right. So Vincent, I think likewise you have been sitting on profit since you bought close to that 160 support level right around here. All right, I think that is a good sign. I think you can use that trailing support as a stop loss level or stop limit order level, because even if prices break below that trailing support level, you're still sitting on 37% profits. Very tidy profits. All right, so I think last but not least, I think just now Pauline was asking, all right, you are looking to buy. So couple of levels to take note. Prices are currently within that support zone between 240 to maybe about 245. You might see some profit taking come in close to that 260 level, or you can adopt a little bit more aggressive strategy to get in if prices break above that 260. Let me just correct myself. Not just break above that 260, you need to break and hold above that 260, and perhaps we may see another 1GT bullish signal come in if that 260 level is broken. So I think what you could do right here, I think you can just set up your 1GT buy or sell alerts on the chart. Just get yourself alerted if there's any new 1GT bullish signal. That next leg to the uptrend for Hong Leong Asia should continue as well. All right. Okay, so that is for Hong Leong Asia. I'll pass the time back to Z to cover the next stock.
All right. Thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the next stock that I'll be covering will be by Lancy, right? Lancy, I hope you are still here. You said your username is Lancy is here. Okay, so you said, can you touch on UOL does not have position now? So I think you are thinking of perhaps looking at potential zones of entry lah, I would say. Okay, so let's take a look at UOL at this point in time. All right, so for UOL, we can see that, based on last year the trend was not that good, right? Because as we see the moving averages, it was actually pointing down only somewhere at Q1 of this year. That's where we started to see more action returning back to this counter, more interest as well, and the moving averages, right, has started to show signs of positivity. Like it has started to point up, right? And the red is actually now above the blue, right? And all three are actually pointing up. And what do we see? We see not one but one, two, three consecutive 1GT bullish signal as well. There's no exit signal yet. All right. So let's just see. I just want to make a quick check and see. Okay. Price have risen about 40%, right? About 40%. Great, right? For those of you guys who have UOL position, congrats, right? Congrats. But for Lancy, right, you do not have position. So let's see where are the potential zones of entry that we can actually take note of. All right. So number one is that right now price, yes, I think just yesterday, right? Just yesterday, we actually gotten a 1GT bullish signal, right? And we can see that, today actually price went even higher, and now it's at about $7.83, right? But the thing is that usually sometimes when this actually happens, right, and price went up so fast, right, a lot of people get very excited about the stock, and they usually would want to chase a stock. And usually that is what we refrain or we try to stop ourselves from doing, because once you actually do that, it's very hard to control your emotions. And part of the 1G framework is to be able to be disciplined, to have a trading plan, so that you don't get so overly emotional about your position and your stock. Just if let's say every time you watch it and then dip a bit and like, shit, I don't know what to do, right? So usually we don't try to chase a stock, and we want to time our entry in a way, right, whereby we want to look at support zones for potential zone of entry, right? And that is what we want to look out for. So based on the price action that you can see, right, over the past couple of months, first thing first, you can see right over here, I think $7 number one would be one of the levels that we can actually take note of, right? Because price actually broke above it, tested it for a couple of weeks, broke above it, and then managed to hold above it. And then subsequently, the next level would be at $7.50 right over here, right? $7.50 is the immediate support. I would say the immediate support at this point in time, because right over here, after it broke above the $7, right, we can actually see that, actually I think earnings came out, the market actually absorbed the news, selling pressure came back, and we saw a very long bearish candlestick, right? Selling pressure is present, push prices back down. So 750, I would say previously, if you ask me, like, one month back, right, this would actually be a resistance, right? And once again, somewhere in August, tested it once more, right? One time here, two times here. And then eventually, it broke above it, right? 750. So 750 is what we call a resistance turn to become what we call a support right now. So I would say 750 would be one of the support level, the immediate support level, in fact, that perhaps you might want to set some price alert around here, because if we take a look at the moving averages, is the uptrend still intact? Yes, right? Short term, long term, all intact. We get consecutive 3-1 GT bullish signal, right? And just now, like what I say, we want to take note of potential support zones, right? That's where we want to position ourselves for entry, right? Because we don't want to buy near a resistance, rather you want to potentially enter near a support. That would be better, right? So I would say right over here, right, around the 750, right over here, this could be one of the potential zone of entry that we can actually look at, right? And one thing that perhaps you can consider doing would be to set some price alert, right? Maybe at about 751, 752, 753, 754, because usually that's what Joey does, right? Set multiple alerts so that once it hits the level, you get multiple ding, 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 right? Then you can go in and see your stock, right? So this is one of the levels that we can actually take note of for potential zone of entry. And in terms of resistance, maybe some of you guys here who are holding on to UOL, right? I think one of the level, right, definitely will be the $8 psychological level that you can actually take note of if you are thinking of taking some profits as well. Because number one, $8, as you guys know, is a psychological resistance level, right? It's a psychological resistance level. And number two is, you can see right over here, right, based on the range that we always do a projection on, a 50 cents range, right? Actually, you project it up. It's also towards the $8 level. So those are some of the levels that perhaps some of you guys can take note as well. And I hope that helped you for Lancy in terms of thinking about positioning yourself for entry for UOL. All right. So that would be all for UOL. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Let's move on to the next one. All right, and that would be this company called Banyan Tree. I hope Andy, you're still over here, right? Andy, quite funny, right? I bought Banyan Tree at 69 cents. It took the elevator down to the ground level. Can hold or take before it goes to the basement. quite an interesting analogy. It kind of caught my mind, so I thought, why not just cover it, right? Very, very good one. All right, and by the way, guys, I mean, just want to share with you guys, I think like Ukulele, right? Looking out for your team's WhatsApp every day, have 1GT Pro too. So thank you so much, Ukulele, right? You're a client of mine, you're getting our WhatsApp daily, and you also have access to the 1GT Pro indicator that we're using to kind of like analyze everybody's stock right over here, right? So those of you who are curious as to how to also get the 1GT Pro indicator tool, like, you know, we are using right now, like Ukulele as well, who is also a client of mine. All right, how to get it? Well, you can attend one of those free webinars. Attend one of those free webinars. I say today we don't have time to cover the whole entire strategy and the whole breakdown, and we have a 7-point checklist and all that. We don't have time to cover everything now, right? But the link is right in the chat. Just click on it, register for free webinar. All right, I think we have one webinar. Let me just go to show you the page, right? So once you click on the link in the chat, you'll come to this page right over here. Let me just see what date is it. Let me just see what date is it. Yeah, so this is the page where you click on the link, you come to this page, right? How to 3x your stock portfolio in 2025 with my proven one good trend, 1GT framework, right? And also how do we filter out the top 1% of winning stocks in seconds. So when's the date? Oh, 30 September, Tuesday, right? So it's like next week, right? Yeah, so we don't do this every other month, right? So we do it maybe 3-4 months one time. So next one will be 30 September 2025, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Go ahead to check it out, right? That is the pretty much the dates, all right? 30 of September. Attend a free webinar to find out a little bit more. All right. Okay, now let's go ahead to look at this stock right over here called Banyan Tree, all right, by Andy. Andy, I hope you're still over here, right? Let's see, right? You bought at 69 cents, right? So you can see for Banyan Tree, okay, let me just zoom back a little bit, and not too bad. Like, in fact, we got a couple of bullish signals, 1GT pump in May and June, 3 bullish signals. So Andy, if you have got in here, would be better lah, right? I mean, because 69 cents, we kind of hit resistance. Maybe you got in somewhere over here. As we headed to that resistance, we saw some profit taking and we started to trade down a little bit. But if you have gone in over here, I think, look at this, right? 3 bullish signals, from the bullish signals all the way up to when we got the bearish, the red color one coming out. I would say is a 72%. All right, in 2 months, actually quite okay, you know, but just that you got in somewhere at the higher end. When it's already gone up based on this 1GT bullish signal, right? So now let's go to analyze it. Like what could you do right now? So you can see that, well, we headed to this resistance level right over here around that 72 cents. So 72 cents was a bit of resistance, right? We hit it there, got some bearish candles, down, up, another bearish candle, pump, we went down. And the fact is that we got a 1GT bearish signal coming out. So whenever we get a 1GT bearish signal, plus you look at the green line, right? The green line was kind of like, I mean, since we got a bullish signal, right? And then that was in like May and June, the green 20 days moving average line started to point up, right? As another confirmation. Does it make sense so far? All right. And up. Not for 1 week, 2 weeks, for like about 2 months, all right? Up. Then probably you get in over here. The green line started to flatten out. And then we got a bearish signal. And then the green line started to point down, all right? For the past like 1 over month. But let's see now whether point down, up. Well, lucky, at least now the green line, I would say, has kind of like stopped pointing down, maybe flattening out, maybe starting to even point up. So back to your question, Andy, right? So yeah, normally when we see a bearish signal, you got us to get out, right? But what happens is that, you know, if we do see the green 20 days moving average line starting to flatten out, there could be some signs of strength coming back in the short term. So quite simply, I would say that support has came out around that 55 to 56 cents. Look at this, right? Seeing a bit of support over here the past 2-3 weeks. The green line has flattened out. Resistance-wise, I can show you maybe around that 64 cents. 64 cents. So one thing about Banyan Tree is that you can see that the longer-term trend is still up. Look at the red and blue line. It's still up. So actually, longer-term trend is still okay one. So I don't know whether you will go to basement or B1 or B2, right? But as of today, all right, it seems like some support has really came out around that 55 to 56 cents. So we can hold above it, all right? Eventually, we can break above this resistance maybe of 64 to 65. I think that's potentially where we could start to see a bit of a recovery coming back, maybe to retest the 72 cents. So normally what we're going to see is that we're going to get more confirmations of any reversal. What will be the confirmation? Well, first thing first, we want to see a new 1GT bullish signal like over here. Let's say you get this one, you take and then you know, I don't know when it'll come up, but let's say we paste it over here or here or here, right? Then that will be another confirmation that we're starting to see the reversal already, right? Has it come out yet? Haven't yet, right? Next week, I also don't know whether it'll come out, right? Next week, maybe, I also don't know, right? But when it come out, I'll sure know, because we can set an alert such that when any bullish signal comes out, then we can be alerted, then we will know about it, right? So it hasn't come out yet, but let's hope that bullish signal actually appears. And the next confirmation would be the green line that is like kind of like pointing down, flat, maybe start to point up like this, then over here, right? It was down, up. Then you see, previously we got a bearish signal, right? It was down for like about 2 weeks, a little bit, right? Bullish signals came out, green line turned up, and there we go, right? So I don't know whether it'll be like that, but you know, you can see that that's what we are looking for in terms of confirmations of the reversal move, right? And that could guide you to ride the reversal back up, or maybe to take more positions to get back in again, right? To ride more upside or to ride the rebound. Does it make sense, All right, so that's for Banyan trade. So far, so good. If it holds above 55 to 56 cents support level, I think there could still be more room in terms of the rebound potentially happening as well. All right, so that is for Banyan trade. So hopefully, all right, you know, it doesn't go to basement and stuff. All right, hopefully it stays from basement, go to first floor, second floor, third floor. All right, take the escalator up again, or maybe take a lift even faster. All right, Ken. So then pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thanks, Joey. All right, so before I cover the next stock, let's do a little bit of a recap. So just in case, because we saw some of you guys are asking about the stocks that we have already actually covered. So we will not actually cover them again, but not to worry, when this live stream ends, you can actually watch the replay. The replay will be ready shortly after that. All right, so at the start, Joey covered STI, the Straits Times Index, followed by covering the DBS, then Seatrium, Keppel Corp, then Food Empire, Singapore Exchange SGX, Centurion, Yangzijiang Shipbuildg, all right, Singtel, then Z cover AEM, then at CNMC Goldmine by Joey, then Hong Leong Asia by myself, and then Z covered UOL, and then Joey just covered Banyan 3. So we have covered 13 stocks so far. All right, so we're going to cover the next stock right now. Let's see. Let's look through here and see what we have. Just take a look here. Okay, maybe let's just do this. ST Engineering and Nam Chong still bullish now, can add now. All right, and then hopefully you are still here. Okay, so maybe I'll cover ST Engineering. So ST Engineering was previously or still on our watch list as well, but has fallen off a little bit of sellers have actually come in, right? Since prices approached that $9 level, all right, $9 level, actually saw that, you know, a little bit of selling came back in. Prices broke below that 850 levels. Sellers continue to push prices down. We have another 1GT bearish signal coming in. So we have two 1GT bearish signals coming in, or still present at this point, and prices have just recently rebounded 2 weeks back from that 750 level. All right, so we actually see that the 20 days moving average is still pointing down. It's still pointing down, not pointing up yet, not flattening out just yet. It's still pointing down. So the nearer term momentum could be still a little bit weak. Right, sellers are still pretty much in control in the nearer term. Right, but we can see that the longer term moving average is still pointing up, and prices are currently trading above that 100 days and 200 days moving average, and have broken above that $8 psychological resistance, now turn support once again. Right, but that 20 days moving average still pointing down, still under that 100 days moving average. So I think the next thing, all right, I mean, if you are looking out for ST Engineering, you want to maybe perhaps wait for that 20 days moving average to flatten out. All right, flatten out, then start to point up a little bit. All right, so maybe perhaps you may have to get in a little bit more expensive, but I would say that's okay, because you have a little bit more conviction as well, a little bit more conviction for the trade, a little bit more confirmation of the trend direction as well. Don't want to be caught, you know, when sellers actually come back, or if sellers actually come back in as well. All right, so right now we have some alerts. I have some alerts set up close to that 850 resistance level. I can set up some more alerts above the 850 level to just get yourself alerted that prices are going back on, can possibly hit back to that $9 level. All right, so I'll just turn on that trailing support and resistance right now. You can see right here. The prices had opened above that trailing resistance this morning. Right, opened above the trailing resistance this morning, but sellers have actually come back in. So vice versa, if you were looking at the trailing support gives the stock room to breathe on the way up, but the trailing resistance gives the stock room to move if it is on the way down. So if prices are able to break above that trailing resistance, definitely a good sign that the bullish momentum can come back, or the bullish sentiments can once again return to the counter. All right, so I think it's worth to continue to monitor. ST Engineering still remains a very, very good stock, just facing a little bit of weakness in the nearer term. If you are able to see another 1GT bullish signal come in, perhaps that run up can continue, or that next leg of that uptrend can also continue, and prices could head towards the initial $9 and even $9.50 target. All right, so I think just set up some alerts around above 850, and maybe that's where you could actually get in if that level is being respected. All right, Edmund. So I will pass the time now to Z to cover the next stock.
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so I think the next stock that I'll be covering will be Top Glove, right? What is asking about Top Glove? Have position average cost about 20 cents. Currently losing money. Should I hold or cut? For what, I don't know when you actually bought into Top Glove, but based on what you just mentioned, you say your average cost price about 20 cents. So I'm just guessing. Perhaps if you are buying on the way down and averaging down, and right now the average cost is 20 cents, because usually that is what we don't advise clients to do as well, like especially if we know that the stock is actually in a downtrend, right? And then you keep buying more and more and more when it go down and down, to actually lower your average cost price, because that is basically throwing good money after good money lah. You don't want to do that, right? You don't want to do that. So you don't want to get stuck in a position as well, especially when we know that the downtrend of a stock, right, is actually pretty much intact. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at this Top Glove and see what are some of the levels that perhaps maybe what you should actually take note of now. All right, so I believe all of you guys can also see from my screen, right, that the moving averages are, when I talk about moving averages, it is all pointing down, right? Blue pointing down, and it's above the red also pointing down, and and right now, right, the green, right, is pointing down. It seems to go sideways a bit for now, right? And we get a 1 GT bullish signal coming up. But the thing here is that I want to remind you guys, when we see a 1 GT bullish signal like this, it doesn't mean that we straight away, got this bullish signal come out, I faster go and buy now. No, we actually don't do that, right? We don't do that, because we still got to take a look at the entire picture and the entire context, like I've mentioned earlier on, right? Because even if you get a 1 GT bullish signal now, but we know that the longer term trend is actually still down, and it's still pretty much intact. As you can see, the red and the blue is still pointing down. We usually don't want to buy that. We don't want to buy it because the longer term trend, firstly, is already down. Even though we see a 1 GT bullish signal, yeah, we still want to monitor for more signals, especially for the short term trend and the longer term trend to turn up first, right? To turn up first. Okay, so for this case, when we see a 1 GT bullish signal, it doesn't mean that you straight away go and buy, okay? Because longer term trend is actually still down. So what we are seeing over the past couple of weeks, right, and even actually in fact for about 1 month or so, we are seeing that there's some support, right, returning at this 18 cents, right? This 18 cents. And you mentioned that your average cost price is about 20 cents, right? And now it's about 18.5 cents, 18.5 cents. So I think, yeah, definitely you are sitting on some losses, but think about your stop loss plan. Think about your downside, right? Because if let's say prices breaks below the 18 cents, do you think that the 20 days moving average, right, will continue to point down again? Very likely, right? Because if it breaks below a support, likely that the short term trend will probably start to show signs of it pointing down like this. And what actually happens then? Your longer term trend, the red and the blue line, do you think it will point up if it breaks the 18 cents? Likely also no, right? It will continue to actually point down. And that is where we will see more weakness returning back to this counter, right? And that is not what we want. So I think what you can do is to actually set some price alerts, right, below this level, and think about what is your stop loss plan, right? Because if really price break below this 18 cents, you want to be a bit more cautious, reduce some of the exposure lah, because we don't want to be sitting on losses getting bigger and bigger if it continues to break below support level. All right. And also, just to remind everybody out here, when we see a 1GT bullish signal, it doesn't mean straight away immediately buy, okay? Because we still need to see the overall context. And in this case, longer term trend is still now. That is where you want to monitor first. You don't want to quickly take a position to buy into a stock that's in a downtrend. All right. So that would be for Top Glove. And I hope that actually helps, a very quick one. And I'll pass the time back to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, so now the time is about 12:15 p.m. So maybe let's just go one more round very quickly. All right, so as I say, guys, my apologies if we cannot cover all the stocks that you guys are seeing. There's more than 50, 60 over stocks. We can do a quick count. All right, I think we can only do like maybe 18 stocks today. Let's just do one more round before we dive into the stocks that me, Bervyn and Zee like at the end. So in case we never cover your stock, there could be a possibility, right, that your stock might actually be the bonus one that we like at the end. Does it make sense, right? Because that is what we are going to cover. So we will not cover it, then after cover again like 2 times, no lah, right? So maybe if we never cover your stock, right, maybe it's the bonus stock at the end that we purposely skip, all right? So that at the end, if that's our bonus stock, then we'll cover it lah. So make sure you stay all the way to the end. If you don't know what are some of the stocks, right, the 3 Singapore stocks that 3 of us like, one each, we will share after this one more round. All right, okay, let's go to move on to the very next stock, and I think that would be by Angeline, right? Angeline, right over here. Let me go to pull up my screen, and that would be APAC Realty. So Angeline, right, you mentioned about APAC Realty, right? You bought at 0.72, right, 72 cents, all right? And the price now is about 0.875. So not too bad, all right, not too bad. 72 now, 875, sure make money. Your question is hold or sell, all right? It was standard question, because you go out, you make money, but don't know whether it can go up some more. You sell it and go up some more, or wasted, go and sell and go up, right? So don't know whether to sell or not, right? And what if maybe you never sell, then after it come all the way down because it go up a lot already, right? So that's the question that we get asked a lot of time, where people don't really know when to sell, all right? And that's one thing I like about the One Good Trend Pro indicator, all right? It takes the emotion out of the way, it takes the guesswork, the second guessing out of the way, right? If there are no signs of bearishness coming out, or if there are no red bearish signals coming out, I think that there's no cause for concern, all right? You can still continue holding it to right, all right? So Angeline, look at this, right? We got a 1GT bullish signal coming out. I think you got in at 72 cents, so maybe around over here, because we get in even earlier in April, that's even better, even cheaper. That was like around that 40 over cents. I mean, from here, when we got the first alert, right, to get in, all right, plus a few other confirmations to now, 127% in 4 or 5 months. Not too bad. I thought 125%. Well, that's pretty good, right? Pretty good, right? I think it's a pretty good, bullish signal that's played out quite well, and obviously, that there's no bearish signal right now. All right. So some of you might say, wow, Joey, 125%. Very expensive, really very high, But about 1 month ago, when it was like from here to over here, 1 month ago, it was 93%. People also say very expensive, now become 125. I don't know whether it can be 160, can be even higher, right? But the point here is that if there are no signs of weakness coming back, if there are no signs of bearish signals or signs of reversal, then you continue to ride. Does it make sense, Bob? All right. So let's take a look at, what it is saying on the moving averages. So you can see the green line that was, pointing up since May, up. In August, point up even more, right? Obviously, it is still pointing up. So the short-term trend is still up. Longer-term trend, the red and blue already up since last year. That one easy to see. So I think right now, let's see if there's any resistance level that have popped out that maybe if you want to take some profit, you can consider. Well, I would say maybe around that 90 cents. So you can see the high was around that 0.885, 89. I think near 90 cents, right? That's where we are seeing a bit of profit taking, which is normal. I mean, went up by quite a lot already, right? So, 88, 89, 87, 87 half, you want to sell, nothing wrong, all right? So I'm not too sure exactly how many shares you bought, but if you got in at 72, it's still a pretty good still a pretty good gain lah. I mean, I'll say only 25% lah, 25%. Still okay, right? So you can take some profit if you want near 90 cents, right? But I say some, all right, I never say why? Because it still looks good, right? I mean, for me, you can see that I've set some alerts right over here. All right, 915, 905, 92 lah, pump. Right, so if we go above that 90 cents, I think there could be another leg up. All right, targets could be revised maybe all the way to even $1. All right, so that is for APAC Realty. Not too bad. Take some profit if you want, but I'm looking at more upside if the 90 cents gives way. And what I could do as well is to turn on the trailing support that I've shown you guys many times, right? One of the very powerful feature of the 1GT Pro indicator, all right? So you can see the bullish signal popped out in April, right? This trailing support, as the name sounds like, trailing support, following, I say go up, follow, right? While you follow, you give it the space also lah. How don't follow too close, right? So you can see move up, we follow up. Now it is still above it, and there's still some space, right? Between the price and the trailing support. So it still looks okay, right? It still looks okay. We give it the space. All right, if we go below the trailing support, then not so good lah. Right, if we go below the trailing support, that's where we have a bearish signal coming out. If we get other confirmations that is more bearish, then we want to take some profit, right? But now to them, still okay, right? So let it go up some more, let it rise some more. Hopefully 90 cents with the break, we push even higher. The trailing support will follow it even higher, and we maximize our profits more in an uptrend. Does it make sense, All right, so that is APAC Realty. All right, let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next stock.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, let's see. Maybe this one. Okay, let's go. So, hi, I'm new, and I hope my question will be picked. Okay, so it's getting picked now. Okay, can analyze Comfortdelgro, please. All right, okay, let's talk about Comfortdelgro. Joy, hopefully you're still here. Let's see. Let me just throw it up onto the screen. Okay, here we go. All right, so Comfortdelgro right here. I think Comfortdelgro is looking like a little bit of a whipsaw movement, I think, in the most recent days, especially these two right here. Can see prices very, very quickly moved up to the 150 in sometime in May, but I think very swiftly over the next few weeks quickly came down back to the 135 level, and then another situation happened where it pushed up higher to the 160 level, but then pulled back very closely as well. So it looks like this is a pattern forming for Comfortdelgro, where I think sellers actually come back in very, very quickly as prices approach a resistance level. So I think right now, I think the resistance level or the support level, I will be placing it, or I placed it around that 140 level first, right around where the 200 days moving average is also at, where it is still pointing up alongside that 100 days moving average. So that longer term trend is still intact for Comfortdelgro, but however, that 20 days moving average, the nearer term trend, nearer term momentum seems to be slowing down and weakening as we see sellers actually come back in and prices still being kept under that 150 resistance level. So I think as of right now, let me just see. Let's quickly turn on that 1GT buy or sell signal. Let's go. We got a 1GT bearish signal right here, cementing that nearer term momentum or nearer term weakness is still present. So if we were to just turn on that trailing support and resistance line, okay, we can see that there is a trailing resistance because there is a 1GT bearish signal still present right around that 154 level. So I think if prices continue to be within this range, this 140 to 150 range for a while, you would see that this trailing resistance will start to hit down a little more, and eventually if prices are able to break above that trailing resistance, right, then that's where we can see that 1GT bullish signal come in. But the movement for Comfortdelgro seems to be a bit erratic. All right, Joy, you want to be a bit more careful if you're getting in or you already have some positions in Comfortdelgro. Definitely you want to take note of those key levels, 140, 150, and if that 150 level is broken, then you want to take note of that 160 level. So just be a little bit more alert when you are actually looking at Comfortdelgro at this point. Don't want to be suddenly caught off guard when prices pull back, because it seems like that has been the trend for Comfortdelgro, where prices can pull back very, very quickly as well. All right, so that's a very quick one for Comfortdelgro. Pass the time now to Z to cover the last stock before we move on to our bonus stocks. Z?
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the last stock I think I'll be covering Far East Orchard by Wing Cheong. Wingkit. So Wingkit, you're saying that Far East Orchard showing signs of uptrend. Is this the beginning of the 1GT trend looking to buy for midterm? All right, so let's take a look at this counter. All right, so I was just looking at the counter as well, right? And I think previously, actually since 2021, right, I was just curious lah. Like since 2021, actually the stock are very boring one. You can see that the stock is just kind of like going sideways. All the moving averages are pointing sideways, and it has just been kind of like between the range of like 90 cents to $1, 90 cents to $1, and it has been very boring lah for at least 4 years, I would say. And only at the start, I think somewhere in July, that means the second half of this year, right? Then we start to see more interest returning back to this counter. And this is where more action started, right? And this is where we are starting to see, like what Winkit say, right? Showing signs of uptrend, right? And what we actually see right now, right? There's also how many 1GT bullish signal? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 consecutive 1GT bullish signal, right? 5 consecutive 1GT bullish signal. That's not it, right? And plus all the moving averages are, at least now all three, right, are actually pointing up, right? At least it is not like last time you see all three are actually pointing sideways. Now all three are actually pointing up, and we got 5 1GT bullish signal. Okay, let me just see. Right now it is about about 30 over percent, right? Not too bad. And there is still no exit signals yet, right? So I think definitely I think I will also be adding on to my watch list for this counter, Winky. Thanks for sharing. All right, so let's take a look at some of the levels, right, that maybe you can take note of, because you are saying that you are looking to buy, right, for midterm. So right now price is at about $1.29. Yeah, $1.29, right? And I think the immediate support level, right, that we are actually looking at for this counter right now will be somewhere at this $1.25, right? Because $1.25 previously, somewhere back in July, this is where we saw selling pressure return. We saw a couple of bearish candlesticks, right? You see the bearish candlestick consecutive over here, and then selling pressure came back to push the price back down, but buyers came back in to step up and support the price about the $1.15 right over here, as you can see, right? And then the next couple of weeks, again, same thing, buyers came in to support the prices, like it didn't fall below this 115. So I would say 115 is actually another support that we need to take note of, but immediate support as of now that we want to take note of would be about this 125, right? Immediate support at about $1.25. And all three moving averages are actually pointing up, right? So the thing is that right now, potential zone of entries that potentially we could look at will be around this level, right? Because this is near the support zone, the $1.25. This is where perhaps we can actually set some price alert, right? Maybe $1.26, 27, 28. These are the levels that you can potentially set some alert to notify you, especially when the price were to retrace back to the potential buy zone for you to position yourself for entry. All right. And in terms of the targets wise, I would say that the immediate target, right, would be about $1.35. So how did we actually get this projection, right? Same thing, we always do a simple projection upwards, right? And this is about a 10-cent range, right, from the $1.25. So the next upside targets that we are looking at is towards the 135, provided that it can continue to hold above this new higher support that's being found, which is around the $1.25. All right, so I think this counter definitely still look pretty bullish at this point in time. Plus, we got 5-1GT bullish signal. All the moving averages are still heading up, and it still look pretty decent and pretty bullish, I would say. So definitely keep this in your watch list. I will definitely do it in mine, and that is where you can actually set some price alert near the support zone to potentially position yourself for entry. All right. So that's all for Far East Orchard. I'll pass the time back to Joey to actually start sharing about our bonus stock for today.
All right, thank you so much. And there we have it, guys. We have covered a total of 18 stocks today, right? 18 stocks today. So let me just go to do it very quickly and just say out the names of all the stocks that we've covered. So in case you're just joining us, all right, or you miss certain stocks, you can watch the replays on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to it, all right? You can kind of like scroll and watch the replay. So let me just go to say out the names, all right, of all the stocks that we have covered today, right? Today, before we look at the bonus stocks, right? So very simple. I would say that today we covered what we call the STI market, right? We covered the first stock for today, and that would be DBS, right? DBS, Seatrium, Keppel, Food Empire, all right, which I covered, all right, and not too bad. I think we're attempting to break the resistance I talk about, right? Food Empire. Bervyn covered SGX, all right, SGX. Centurion as well was covered. Yangzijiang Shipbuilding, Singtel, AEM, all right, AEM was covered as well. And let's see, right, we have CNMC Goldmine, Hongleong Asia, UOL, Banyan 3, ST Engineering, Top Glove, APEC Realty, Bervyn covered Comfortdelgro, and finally Z covered Far East Orchard, right? That is pretty much the 18 stocks, the 18 Singapore stocks that we covered today, all right? And I hope that all of you guys got value. I hope all of you guys got value. Let me know, guys, type of V for value, guys, if you got value today, all right, in terms of the strategy, in terms of the stocks that you asked and you were covered. Let me know type of V for value. Let us know before we move on to the bonus stock round, right? Type V for value, let me know. Let's see, right? Let's see who got value here today. Let me know. Just type a V for value. And let me just acknowledge all of you for still joining us today, right? Almost 2 hours already. Let's see, right? Value, thank you so much. TGK, John, ZX, Alan, Dave, Sean as well. All right, very good. Value, Victor, Evelyn. Evelyn, I think I covered your stock, right? Mifi as well. Value. Awesome, right? So I'm glad all of you got value. Ukulele, value as well. All right, so same thing, guys. Our apologies if we cannot cover all the stocks. There's more than 60 over stocks. We covered 18 of it, right? So hopefully you guys learned something as well. All right, and I think some of you are even asking, like, the indicator that we have, right? How to perhaps have access to it, right? Just want to share in case I did not share just now. All right, what happens is that we do have a light version. So all this while what we're using is what we call the 1GT Pro indicator, right over here. That's what we call the One Good Trend Pro indicator. All right, but essentially what we have is that if you want to go into test drive the light version, the One Good Trend light indicator, you can do it, right? Team can just place the link in the chat, all right? And that's where you'll come to this page right over here, This is what I call the One Good Trend light indicator. What's the difference between the light and the pro, right? Well, very simple. The light indicator is the simpler version of the pro indicator. So it just allows you to pull out the bullish and bearish signals. There's no other advanced stuff like some of the trailing support and resistance and some other advanced stuff that my graduates actually have. So you want going to test drive the light indicator, you feel that it's useful, just of the bullish and bearish signals and stuff. Going to click on the link, you'll come to this page right over here. All right, test drive my One Good Trend light indicator for free. Most incredible free gift ever in the stock market, right? So you know exactly when to buy and sell, get an opinion in seconds. And for test driving it, right, you get $3,997 worth of training, all right? Just for saying maybe, just for test driving it, right? Click on the link right here. All the details are on this page, all right? The link is right in the chat. So going to test drive my 1GT light indicator, guys. If you want to find out a little bit more, all right? If you want to go ahead to have access to the pro, right? Then you can attend one of those free webinars, right? Team can place the link in the chat as well. Attend one of those free webinars. And that's where we share with you guys a little bit more advanced stuff, right? And how to have access to the One Good Trend Pro indicator and the whole entire framework behind the One Good Trend Pro indicator. Basically, the whole entire One Good Trend strategy, we break it all down for you. Same thing, the link is right in the chat. All right. Okay, now let's go ahead to move on right now and cover the top stocks that I'd like to share with you guys. So I'll cover one stock, Bervyn one stock, Z one stock, total 3 Singapore stocks. So what is the bonus stock that I'd like to show you guys today? All right, that would be Yangzijiang Financial Holding. So I saw some of you actually asking about it. All right, we have, let's see, right, who is asking about Yangzijiang, but I couldn't cover it because it was covered at the end. All right, I think who is asking about it? Let me just go to pull out the comment. All right, who is asking about Yangzijiang Financial Holding? All right, let's see. We have right. Okay, guys, there's so many chat messages until I spend too much time finding. Okay, never mind. But I think one or two of you asked about Yangzijiang Financial Holding. But anyway, let's just go to analyze this stock right now. All right, the price of this stock is about 1.15. So, as I said, if you have been a client of mine in Philips Securities, you probably receive a few WhatsApp messages from, not me, from my team. All right. To alert you on this stock since a couple of months back, I think since maybe in July or what, really sent out a few notes on Yangzijiang Financial Holding. So those of you who are clients of mine, check our WhatsApp, do a search, you'll probably see it a few times already. As I said, if you're not yet a client of mine in Philips Securities, guys, if you want to get some of those ideas daily by WhatsApp for free, We just place the link in the chat one final time now. Click on the link, find out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities to get these ideas, especially if your broker never send you anything. All right, nobody WhatsApp you, nobody sent you any idea, no training, no video, nothing. Then you click on the link, right? The link is right in the chat. Okay, join us, join many of our clients over here as well. We're getting these ideas on a daily basis, not weekly, daily basis. In fact, later I'm going to send one more. All right, so clients, you can check your WhatsApp in a bit after the show, right? Now I go to analyze one first. Okay, yeah. So now, Yang Financial Holding, right? 1.15. So you can see that this is the chart right over here, right? Just by looking at the moving averages, I think it looks pretty bullish, right? Just by looking at the trend, right? The longer term trend is up since last year, all right? I mean, look at the red and blue line, it's been up since last year, right? But the short-term trend, it was not always up. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's sideways. You can see up and then very boring. Like from March all the way to June, to be honest, this stock is like sleeping, all right? However, it woke up somewhere in July, right over here, the green line, there was like flat, started to point up, right? Yeah, still up, all right? So why did this stock come into my watch list, and why did we even alert our clients to it as well? Well, essentially, right, let me just quickly turn on the bullish and bearish signals, right? So this is the 1GD Pro indicator, right? As I say, we do have a light version tested out, right? The light version, we don't have all these other advanced stuff, like all the volume and stuff, right? It just contains the bullish and bearish signals. Simple enough if you like it, but let's go to turn it on, pump. And let's see what happens, right? So you can see, right, as I mentioned, we got a 1GT bullish signal, right? So the green line was flat somewhere in July, to be exact, 2nd of July. We got the second 1GT bullish. So first one over here, second one, and that's where it went even faster, all the way up, right? Now, why do I still like this stock? Well, obviously the short-term trend is up. The longer-term trend has already been up, right? If I can turn on the trailing support and see what it says, right? You can see that, well, this trailing support since May has been following it, right? Flat up, follow, until it's right over here around the $1.02, right? So there's still some space between the price and the trailing support. And today, right? Today it seems like we are attempting to even break what we call maybe the 115, right? I think 110 would be a little bit of a psychological resistance level that we actually attempted to break on Tuesday. We went back down, but today we are kind of like, taking a more bullish stance, all right, whereby we are attempting to go above that 110, staying above it, and maybe even 115 as well, right? So next resistance, maybe all the way to that $1.20. So not too bad, right? Longer term trend is up, short term trend is up, trailing support that's been following it is still kind of like following it up right now, all right? So I think there could potentially still be more upside, maybe even all the way to 150 target, if the 1.20 resistance actually gives way. So what I could do right now, right, is to set some alerts at 1.21 pump, all right, 1.22 pump, 123, 122, right? So let me just set it live right now so that as it goes to these levels, I will be alerted and we can see if that more positions can be taken, more aggressive entries can be taken to ride the upside even more, all right? So, and let me just scroll back. You can see, right, previously, in fact, in like last year, September, we got actually another 1GT bullish signal. And there we go, right? All the way up. Bearish signal. I think, that's April, April Trump tariff, right? Everything came down. So we got a bearish signal. Well, get out, take some profit, let it stabilize, bullish signals, and the reversal has started, right? It's still ongoing. It is poised to hit even higher, I think, especially if we stay above the $1.10 new support level right now. All right, so that is for Yang Zijiang YZJ, Yang Zijiang Financial Holding. The code is YF8. All right, the bonus stock that I'd like to share with you guys today. Okay, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn, right, to cover his special bonus stock for today. Bervyn?
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so Joey covered Yang Zijiang Financial, and my bonus stock, let me just remove this. At this for today will be this Valuetronics. I just saw that while we were talking, the prices have already started to move very, very close to one of the resistance that we have already set out for already. All right, so I think, Jared, I think this hopefully answers your question also, because you also saw our message regarding Valuetronics this morning, already up from 80 cents. Is it too late to enter? All right, so let's just take a look right now. I think we first started covering Valuetronics once again sometime in June of this year, because prior to that, I think there wasn't much movement, but I think that break above that 68 to 70 cents level, that was when I think the stock or the prices or the buyers actually started to come in, push prices higher faster as well. So I think after a short consolidation for about 2 months, I think prices have started to move higher as well. All right, so prices were consolidating between that 0.75 cents to the about 80 cents level for about 2 months before 4 days ago. We sent out another note on Tuesday where prices broke above that 80-cent level. So I think as of right now, it looks like yes, prices have indeed headed higher, Jared. I think we have some alerts that were triggered already this morning, but no worries. I think if prices can continue its momentum, why? It's because after that consolidation where that 20 days moving average was flat for about a month or so, and then now it has started to point up once again. Alongside, definitely we can see that the 100 days, 200 days moving average still looking good. And most importantly, also we have another 1GT bullish signal that have actually come in not too long ago, just at the start of this week. So perhaps maybe you can see a little bit of sellers coming close to that 90 cents levels to push prices back down again for us to position for ourselves for entry. But if it doesn't, I think we could see a little bit of consolidation and prices break above the 90 cents level. Yes, I think that is where we can also position ourselves to ride the next leg of this uptrend. Yeah, so I think the momentum is just getting started for Valuetronics, right? We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1GT bullish signals that are still in play. No bearish signals just yet. So I mean, for those of you who have already been following Joey's WhatsApp messages, all right, WhatsApp messages, if you are a client of Joey, you would have already been alerted to this. Within you have been already maybe sitting on some profits or have already gotten into your positions. Right, so I think as of right now, that trading support is around the 80 cents. Just watch that level, set up some alerts for yourself, set up some alerts below the 80 cents level just to get yourself alerted. If prices break down, we want to get out with some of those profits. So I think Joey have mentioned multiple times as well, if you are not a client of Joey yet and you wish to receive updates like this on a day-to-day basis regularly, please just click the link in the chat that we have just sent just now. You do not pay anything additional, same as what you are paying with other places as well, nothing more. All right, so I think that is for Valuetronics. For me, I think it has been moving for the past 1 week. I think it may continue to move, but let's continue watching. All right, now I'll pass the time to Z to actually cover the last bonus stock for today.
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the last bonus stock that I would like to share with you guys today would be this stock called LHN, right? So I don't know if you guys know about this stock, but maybe just a brief introduction about this stock or this company. Basically, it does 4 main business groups whereby it actually reutilize transforming underutilized property into valuable spaces and then they also dabble in like facility management, car park management, energy resources, basically something to do with like real estate as well a bit, right? So I would say that this stock also have some sort of relations to like interest rates because the thing is that as you guys know, I think next week the Fed is gonna have a FOMC meeting, right? And then I think the market has already been pricing in, of the interest rate dropping, of Powell to be cutting the rates as well. So that could potentially be catalyst for counters like this, or for like REITs counter in general. All right. So let's take a look at this stock, right? And by the way, I think Joey has also sent out a note for this stock. I think just 2 days ago on the 10th of September, which is on this day whereby the 1GT bullish signal actually came out, and now price is at already $1.04. Just for your information, all right. So like what Bervyn said, if you are not already a client yet and you would like to receive such notifications, right, on your WhatsApp on a daily basis to have some trading ideas, feel free to click on the link in the chat. All right. So let's take a look at this LHN group. So first thing first, when you look at the trend, like I always do, I always look at the moving averages. We can see that all 3 moving averages are actually heading up, right? Short-term trend has also started to point back up. Previously, yes, somewhere in August, it kind of like flattened out a bit, point down a bit, but right now it's starting to show strength again. It's once again starting to point up aligning with the longer term trend, the red and the blue line, right? And we also, like what I mentioned earlier on, we also got a 1GT bullish signal just 2 days back, right? This is the second one, by the way. The first one actually came out somewhere in 8th of May, right? And right now, price is at $1.04. There is still no bearish signal yet, right? There's still no bearish signal yet. And I have also drawn like this dotted line right over here, right, about $1, because I think $1, right, is actually a psychological level to know. And as of today, price actually opened above the $1, and right now it's about $1.04. But I don't know whether it will continue to hold above the $1 level, and ideally that is what I hope to be able to see as well over the next couple of days or weeks. If prices is actually able to hold above the $1 mark, I think definitely potential upside targets that we can look towards initially would be around the $1.10 first, because I think that would be one of the next psychological level that we can actually take note of, or there could be some profit taking actually returning. So definitely, I think very crucial to monitor the $1 level for now. And would be good that, if prices can hold above the $1, and then it actually goes sideways like this before breaking the $1.10, that is even better, right? Because like what we've mentioned earlier on, if prices can break above to a next level, but before that, it actually consolidates sideways, conserving, like as if like it's conserving its energy before it actually break out, great, right? That will actually make the uptrend even more sustainable. All right. So I think I saw some of you guys, like Justin was also asking about the upside, right, for LHN. So yeah, there you go. I think the initial first upside that we are looking at will be towards the $1.10, but provided that it is actually able to hold above the psychological support, the immediate psychological support of $1 first. All right. So I think that is a very quick one for LHN, and I think it still look very pretty bullish at this point in time. And if you like it, you can also add it into your watch list and take note of some of the price alerts the price levels that were mentioned. All right. So with that, back over to you, Joey.
All right, thank you so much, Z. And there we have it, guys. All right, there we have it. All right, we have shared with you guys the 3 Singapore bonus stock that has been in our watch list that could potentially be more upside just because we got some 1GT bullish signals recently. All right, so put in your watch list as well. Hopefully, all right, you can write more profits with us as well. Right, so just do a quick recap. The very first stock that I shared, Yang Zhejiang Financial Holding. The code is YF8. All right, and Bervyn shared Valuetronics. Z just covered LHN. So these are the 3 stocks. In fact, as I said, these 3 stocks, Bervyn and Zee has mentioned as well, we actually shared with our clients in Philips Securities by WhatsApp. All right. So if you want to get some of those ideas much faster than the time, we shared live on Friday, YouTube, it might have gone up a little bit already. All right. Then check out how you can become a client of mine in Philips Securities to get some of those ideas for free at no additional cost. The link is right above the chat. All right. So yes, I think that's it. That's it, guys. I think we've come to the end of today's session. All right. And I think we look forward to see you guys in the next Ask Me Any Stock session next Friday. So today will be Singapore, right? We covered Singapore stocks. I know some of you are asking about like the US market, guys. We have too many Singapore stocks to cover, right? It's like, confirm we'll not do US today because today is not US. So if you're asking about like US stocks like Microsoft, CrowdStrike, and some of those, right? Next Friday we'll be going live again, and that's why we'll be diving into the US market, the US stocks that you guys want a quick opinion on, right? So thank you so much. All right, I think we are pretty much to the end of today's session. Anything to add, Bervyn and Zee? All right.
All right, so nothing much on our end, but we just hope everybody found some value in today's session and continue to join us for the subsequent session as well. And do not forget to like and share. All right, so we can reach out to more people. All right, so thanks everybody. Have a great weekend ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. All right, thanks, Aiden, Vincent, value. All right, Michael, value as well, value. So a lot of value. So I hope you guys got value, and that's the whole purpose of this live session, just to give you guys more value. All right, and we hope that it has benefited you as well. All right, so have a good weekend. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye. See you guys in the next live AMES session. Bye. Bye.
Bye.